WHB, best of the Big 12 Media Days during Petro.
Understand the move, clearly, but he's still kind of just like.
Yes, we are coming down 3-2 and 1. All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. We're hanging out in Lake Tahoe right now. Let's talk some football, some NFL, some college football. Matt Leinart joins us in the zone. What's going on, man?
I mean, life doesn't get much better than being.
High 80s, low 90s. So as long as if I could.
Here you go. All right, let's go get some fun. All right, hanging out with George Kittle here in Lake Tahoe, America. Nationally, people are talking about around today.
All right, cool.
Tomorrow.
Oh, so you mean tomorrow?
It'll be actually tomorrow because it's playing tomorrow. All right, that's carte blanche. Let's do it, man.
All right.
I've always wanted to do
You
this.
guys are going to be like, we have literally nothing we can use. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're already starting the interview, by the way. Everything we're saying right now is going to be in the interview tomorrow.
Oh, it's part of it?
No,
Fantastic.
I hope so. We'll see. Here we go, coming down 3-2 and 1. We continue hanging out here in Lake Tahoe. Final day of broadcast as the tournament gets underway today. Our coverage presented by Bobsite Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, and Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Joining us now, he's participating in the tournament starting today with the next 3 rounds. He's 300 to 1. It's Tim Simons. You know him from a number of different things. One of my favorite shows of all time is Veep. But Tim, welcome into the show. How are you?
Thanks so much. I just want to say, big fan of their concretes. Thank you guys for sponsoring. Always been a big fan.
Great.
2002. So he'll be 23. Yeah, he's bless.
6 years, 22.
So down here, right? Like talent evaluation and
Yep. It's food.
every year he's like, there is, and then we get into that whole broadcasting thing.
I love it.
All right, all right. Here we go, coming down 3-2 and 1. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. We are hanging out at the American Century Championships in Lake Tahoe. It is presented by the Bobside Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, and Gann Asphalt and Concrete. And joining us now, a man, Chiefs fans very familiar with this guy, Justin Reed, joining us here in the and this tomorrow. So this will be Thursday for us. Perfect. Coming down 3-2 and 1. All right, we continue hanging out here in Lake Tahoe, the American Century Championship presented by Bobsite Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Joining us now, CBS NFL Today, former NFL quarterback here, and a man who yearly is out here at the American Century Championship, Matt Ryan. All right, hanging out here in Lake Tahoe, American Century Championship. Our coverage presented by the Bobsite Auto Group, Zero Res, Window. Joining us now is Jay Billis here in the zone. Jay, how are you? This will be Thursday. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, hanging out here in Lake Tahoe, American Century Championship. Our coverage presented by Bobsite Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, and Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Joining us now, Ryan Fitzpatrick here in the zone with us. Ryan, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great, thank you. It's hard not to be doing great here in lovely Lake Tahoe.
Grunhard. Chiefs.
Justin Reed joining tomorrow. So this will be Thursday for us. Perfect. Group Zero Res Window.
Played some golf.
How's the golf game right now?
It's okay. Yeah,
Okay.
it's okay. It's it
In here. Yeah, probably. Chance to come in here. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first got here, I didn't know that this.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. We're here at the American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe. Our coverage presented by Bobsite Auto Voice and the guest here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Maybe not from 10 to 2, but certainly from 6 in the morning until 10. Catherine Tappan joining us here.
and I'm
Here on Sports Radio. Radio 810.
check.
All right, there we go. Yep, he is.
Alpha Bravo Delta.
Charlie, I think. 3 ABC. All right. I believe we are rolling back there, so we can go ahead and get this thing started. 3, 2, and 1. I will continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, heading up until 2 that we get to talk to every year out here because he gets the invite and comes out here every year. And it's Rob Riggle joining us here.
Hello.
So, Rob, what's up?
I'm doing. Hello.
There's a bunch of people, right? I believe connect. So getting the opportunity to do a drama, how does something like that come about? I'll just ask the question again.
Perfect.
Yes. So getting the opportunity to.
I am capable of doing other things, and I have chances of it.
Yeah.
But playing up next to the plate was 1,000 to 1, 3,000.
Tomorrow, so it's Wednesday.
Oh,
It's
good.
Tuesday, but it's think well. because you ended up playing even better right around 2 o'clock.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. You started hitting it real. Went to bed feeling confident.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
All right. Coming down 3-2. All right. We'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, hanging out here in Lake Tahoe. The American Century Championship, as our coverage is presented by the Bobside Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, and Gan Asphalt and Concrete. Joined now by Joe Buck, a mainstay out here. That every year we get a chance to talk to you.
Stroh's game, and his line was always, "These are
1, 2, 3, X.
HB, Jason Anderson with you, hanging out at American Century Championships in Lake Tahoe, is presented by Bob and Gan Asphalt and Concrete. Joining us now is Michael Pena. You see him on the big screen and the TV shows as well.
See that it's like, okay.
That's what we tell everybody before they go to. The American Century Championship in Lake Tahoe. It's presented by the Bobside Auto Group. On this hour, he tees off hour. Right now, we're going to head down to Dallas. So Sterling in Kansas City. I'm in Todd. How are you, sir?
We're doing great. We're at the city manager agent. That was just the other day. The guy played in the league 10 years. So these folks who are running around with these
and traveling here to Lake Tahoe to do these interviews in 78-degree weather.
Yeah, it's nice. Back where we live,
So
you're cooking. I'm also
the coordinators and absolutely. NFL quarterback here and a man who yearly is out here at the American Century Championships. Matt Ryan joining us here in the zone. Matt, how are you, sir? Pro Res, Window Nation, and Gan.
Bridge, but I just need to putt better. Last year, I could have closed my eyes and it would have been any different.
At Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, and Gan Asphalt and Concrete. Joining us now, Ryan Fitzpatrick here in the zone with excitement that comes with it. That part I do miss.
Yeah, visiting with Matt Ryan. I wanted to ask you about a number.
Playing my normal, average, but I just need to putt better. Last year, I could have closed my eyes and it would have been any difference in my putting results. So,
For you. All right, here we go. Coming down 3-2 and 1. All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, hanging out here in Lake Tahoe, American Century Championship. Our coverage presented by Bobsite Auto. Actually, we should be saying, it's beautiful Lake Tahoe or lovely Lake Tahoe. Retired analyst would be part of your career path as you were playing?
I didn't, and the loss would burn a fire brighter than even the win.
Cool. It's not that bad, especially if you bring your own mattress.
Okay.
We had a ton of support, a ton of people come out, great celebrity presence, great presence of just
One, two, three, four, five. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's what. That got pressed. Good to know.
For college football.
Here we go.
Jason, you got me?
Yep, gotcha, man.
810
we go.
WHB.
All right, so I don't know how long.
Live coverage from the American Century Championship is brought to you by Bobsite Auto Group. One name, 4 locations. The Bobsite Auto Group. Trust is our tradition. By Zero Res. Visit ZeroResKC.com to book your appointment today. Remember, spell
Already
Zero
said
Res
that,
backwards or forward. It's the right way to clean. By Window Nation. Get 50% off windows.
Oh, boy.
Until 2030. Visit WindowNation.com today. And by Gann Asphalt and Concrete. The world is coming to Kansas City. Will your parking lot be ready? Whether it's simply shaded lines, unsafe sidewalks, or parking lot potholes, Gann Asphalt and Concrete can help.
Hey, Kansas City, this is
All right,
Stephen
so
John from my friends at Kansas
I just
City
wish I knew
Credit
how long the
Union.
Miz
And
interview
right
was,
now,
because
Kansas City Credit
I've
Union
got 2 choices
has
here
no
to play in the
payments for
second
90
segment.
days for either an auto purchase or refinance loan. The refinance must be a loan
What's
from
up?
another financial institution. Get the money you need and the peace of mind.
Yeah, it was
you've been
definitely
looking
during
for.
the show on
There's no
Wednesday.
550 credit score required to qualify.
Yeah, it was on.
Limited time offer. So check it out now.
It was.
We're getting started here.
It was on the. It was on the 9th, right?
/810 Sports for more information.
Yeah.
If you work,
No, that's Michael Pena. Yeah, that was the. Yeah, that was the 8th. It was. He was. He was recorded on the 9th. Nope, it was before Catherine. There he is. How long do you think that was? 22 minutes? Okay. All right, so Kyle.
Go ahead.
I think we're going to play, because The Miz was 22 minutes. So I think we're probably going to play Tim Simons in the second segment. So we'll probably, that's 40 minutes. So we'll probably need to do like a 10-minute open here.
Gotcha.
Cool. All right. Ready to go. All right, a Friday edition of The Zone right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Kyle Collier hanging out back at the station with us. We are in Lake Tahoe, final day of broadcast here at the American Century Championship, presented by Bobsite Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, Gann Asphalt, and Concrete I should say, are the sponsors for us here this week. We certainly appreciate them, and we appreciate all of the different guests and people that have stopped by over the last few days. And today should be just as jam-packed of a show, if not more jam-packed than it has been in the last couple of days, because we've got scheduled. The celebrity karaoke last night, Sterling, took place, and so having some conversations with different people there. We ended up hanging out with like Jason Worth for like 25 minutes. Somebody I didn't think when I was coming to Lake Tahoe that I would get to know is Jason Worth. So, but he was one of the coolest dudes last night. We were talking about the Kentucky Derby, his horse winning the Belmont last year, racing in the Derby this year. Just a lot of different things with Jason Worth. So he said he's going to stop by before his round today, sometime in the 1 o'clock hour. Rich Eisen was up on stage doing a little celebrity karaoke. We talked with him. He's going to stop by today before his round. The Miz, who is always the life of the party, is going to stop by today at some point, maybe in this first hour. Trey Wingo, we'll talk with him. George Kittle, we ran into him yesterday and saw him again last night. He performed in the celebrity karaoke. He's going to stop by before the round. So hopefully all of these things happen, because sometimes, I don't know, after a late night like that, Sterling, you would know, some guys maybe show up a little late the next morning for their tea time. So I remember it was 2 or 3 years ago that the last time Mahomes was in this, that they were getting ready to tee off on a Friday morning to start the tournament, and Travis came right from the shuttle to the first tee. He was running behind, and that was Patrick and Travis. Where Patrick was like, well, Travis and I were hanging out last night, and I went home and he stayed out longer, so I have no idea what happened, but he said he's going to be here. And like they were counting down to like the tee off, and he pulls up, and his first swing was his tee off for hole number 1 that year. So maybe that happens. I don't know. That's the plan for things right now. We shall see how it comes about over the next 4 hours or so. But I do know that 2 interviews we will definitely have, 3 that we will definitely have, I should say that. An hour from now, we'll talk with Matt Derrick. Only a segment today with Matt Derrick because Cliff Illig is going to stop by at about 11:30 or so, 11:25, 11:30. And so looking forward to that conversation. Going to sit down with Cliff and talk about what's going on with sporting, talk about the stadium conversation that's going on with the Chiefs and the Royals, because he's a guy that was deciding between Kansas and Missouri when he was, deciding where the stadium was going to go. World Cup, the latest on that. Star bonds that they worked through and paid off pretty quickly. I'm just curious, like if that 70% mark. Does Cliff think if they built a dome and got the $3 billion, would they be able to cover the 70% of the star bonds? He's very familiar with that. So we'll talk with Cliff Illig coming up in the 11 o'clock hour, about 11:30, and then Jonathan Thomas. We'll talk with him, CEO, president of American Century, coming up in the 12 o'clock hour as well. So also Trey Wingo is supposed to stop by. He's not playing, so we do think that he'll be able to stop by at noon today. That's already scheduled, so he's not playing today. That should be good to go. And then if people will indulge me, Sterling and Kyle. So I like talking to the actors that are out here as much as the athletes and other sort of celebrities. And so one of my favorite interviews we've done so far was Michael Pena, because I'm a huge fan of his. Well, one of my favorite TV shows ever is Veep. And if anybody knows Jonah in Veep, played by Tim Simons, you would know, the sort of comedic character actor that he is in the different things that he has done. And Netflix series Nobody Wants This is out, and very popular as well, and he's in that. And so if people will indulge me, okay, I've been doing so many interviews, Sterling, for everybody else. Everything I've done is for everybody else. It's for you. It's for the demanding from Kyle. I mean, Kyle has been on my.
Jess knows no bounds,
Dude,
Jason.
Kyle has been on my ass.
Man.
The amount of notes that Kyle has sent me anytime he's found out we're going to interview somebody, it's outrageous. Absolutely. Now I know what Seren has to deal with. I mean, or maybe
He actually sent you a strongly worded letter. It wasn't even a text or an email. He
Right.
sent you a letter to Tahoe. It
Yeah.
was shocking, Pony Express style.
Sterling, but here's what pissed me off. He addressed it to whom it may concern, not even to me. To whom it may concern. I have a name, okay? I have a name. It's not whom, nor is it concern. Understand? So this one, I'll be honest. I'm going to do the interview for myself. This one's for me, and anybody else that may be a fan of Tim Simons and in Veep, and Nobody Wants This on Netflix. He is one of my favorite characters in any TV show. Is Jonah in Veep. And anybody that's seen that show knows exactly what I'm talking about. And so he's going to tee off in like an hour. And he said he was going to come over about locally here around 8:20, which is 10:20 Kansas City time. So in about 10 minutes, I have not seen him yet. He was there last night, and we had a blast hanging out with him for like 20, 25 minutes. It was great. Maybe one of the nicest dudes that we've talked to. And so, if people will indulge me, hopefully you guys enjoy it too. If not, that's okay. This one's for me. It's like the suit.
I know that show. That Nobody Wants This. That's a great show.
Yeah.
I know exactly who he is. I'm so bad with actors. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know that guy.
Have you seen Veep?
I'm so bad with names. No, I've not seen Veep. I've
Oh.
only seen. I've heard glorious things. That actually
one of
probably
my-
needs to be on the list.
It's one of my favorite TV shows ever. Kyle, have you seen Veep?
So, no, but I know it's got Julia
Louis-Dreyfus in there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and that was his
Yeah,
big
never
break.
seen it.
Yeah, that was his big break. It is brilliant. It is so good, and it's political satire. And I'm just excited to hear about it because that was his big break. Like I didn't know who he was before that, and now it's like he's one of the funniest people ever. And he was hilarious. He was cracking us up last
so
night.
good though.
Yeah,
Like that's a nice, like a newer show, and a lot
Yep.
of newer shows. I'm like, okay, is it stale? Is it overdone? Have we seen this trope a time or two? I thought Nobody
It
Wants
was really
was incredible. My wife and I really enjoy that
yeah.
show.
Season 2 comes out in October, I think, is when it drops for Nobody Wants This. And so we were talking to him about that last night. He was cracking us up, dude. Like laugh out loud. He was freaking hilarious. And I'm like, dude, I got to get you on the show tomorrow. I don't care that it's not sports related. He's like, yeah, I don't really pay attention to sports, to be honest with you. Like, I don't care. We've done sports all week. We've done sports all week. We've done sports all week. He did say I don't really pay attention as much anymore because of work and stuff, and I'm just not into it as much. He goes, but he's from New England and he's a huge Patriots fan. So we'll just make fun of the new dynasty in town. That's what we'll have fun with probably. We'll see. But that's where people will probably have to indulge me is coming up in about 5 to 10 minutes or so. We will talk with The Miz. Looking forward to that later on this hour. And then we'll get into plenty of sports stuff. I do want to say this, though, as a sportsy thing and an entertainment thing. So yesterday, Sterling, I don't know if you saw the picture of Travis Kelce in his very svelte golf shirt that he was wearing in his garage beer meet and greet that he was doing with Jason. So there was hardly anybody out here on the driving range that you're familiar with. And Chad is like, hey, the Kelce's just showed up. And this was like 3 o'clock local time here. So 5 o'clock back in Kansas City. And so he's walking out. It's Bethany and I are standing there, and he recognizes Bethany because she covers the Chiefs. And so he's like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, any chance we can get you for like 5 minutes? He goes, man, I got to do this garage beer thing. And then I got to warm up and everything. And we'll see after that. And he did this garage beer thing. And I tweeted it out. I tweeted out a picture of Travis. And with the picture in the conversation he was having with this guy that, oddly enough, the guy lives in Lexington. He won a contest online with Garage Beer for a free trip to Tahoe and a meet and greet with the Kelce brothers. So that's what this guy got, by just signing up online with Garage Beer. So he's doing the meet and greet, and Kelce's like, man, I haven't had many of these, because I've been on. He said I've been on the coastline. I've been running up and down the coastline, getting ready for the season, is what he said. And I'm telling you, if you haven't seen the picture, he looks like it. And I just point of clarification on this. Just want to make sure that this is clear. Because I tweeted out the picture, and then I tweeted out a picture of Kelce last year. And there were people certainly that looked at it, saw the difference, and were like, wow, look how great a shape he's in, which is certainly the point. There were also people that were he was fine last year. Why are you making fun of his body and all this stuff? And you're, we should be body positive and fat shaming and all of this
you
stuff.
Fat shaming
Yeah.
Travis Kelce.
Yeah. So
Jason.
here's what I want to point out in a point of clarification here. At no point last year, when I was taking video and pictures of Travis Kelce, did I look at Travis Kelce and say, that guy's out of shape, he's going to be screwed this year, and the Chiefs are not going to be able to three-peat because he's only going to have like 900 yards receiving. Being the total focal point of the offense, he's only going to have 900 yards receiving. Now, we have talked about this year, that this past year, that he looked a step slow. Here's the point of clarification. Travis Kelce himself said that he needed to get back in shape. Travis Kelce himself said, I'm going to do what I can to, the remotivation, do everything I can to get into the best shape. Travis Kelce himself said he felt like he wasn't in the best shape last year. I didn't notice anything. He looked like a tight end. He looked like an NFL player that was in his 30s last year. Guys have guts, offensive linemen have guts. He's not expected to be. If Xavier Worthy was walking around with a gut, that might be a little bit different, okay? But Travis Kelce is not a guy that's relied on his speed and breakaway as a 34, 35-year-old. He ain't 26 and 27 anymore. So, point of clarification, he pointed out himself that I need to get into better shape. And those two pictures connected are Travis Kelce saying, I need to get into better shape, and this is what it looks like when he does. Okay? At no point has Patrick Mahomes said I was out of shape last year or I'm out of shape right now. Okay? Let me just to separate the two. Patrick Mahomes has not said, well, you know what, I was out of shape last year and I couldn't get the Super Bowl. I just didn't have it, and I felt slow and I'm out of shape now. That's what Patrick Mahomes has looked like while he's won 2 rings and gone to 3 Super Bowls. So it would be different if Travis Kelce wasn't talking about himself specifically pointing out I was out of shape last year. Just want to clarify that, okay? Because that was not a look how fat Travis Kelce is. Because, by the way, about 98% of the people living would love to look like Travis Kelce. So just want to point that out.
I would love to. That means I could dunk a basketball.
Yeah.
So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. So I do think there's to me, quite major difference in what Travis Kelce said and what he felt like the weight he should be playing at versus Patrick Mahomes, who's playing at a weight that he feels like he should be playing at. And especially when you have Bobby Stroop talking about that. And especially when I see a six-pack in Patrick Mahomes' stomach. Okay, there's a little bit of a difference there. I would love to have a six-pack through my stomach. All right, I mean, I've got one, but you know what I mean?
Well, I had a six-pack, Jason, but I drank it. I
Damn
will
right.
also point out, I do think that what Travis did and has said has been very important because you're right. He has been the one talking about this. He has brought this up multiple times on multiple occasions, and he's made it an emphasis in what he's trying to do. And he wasn't just saying words. This is proof that he has done it.
Yeah.
This should be almost terrifying for the rest of the NFL, saying, okay, this is a motivated Travis Kelce who knew what he had to do. He might go back to being the best tight end in football this upcoming season in his age, 35 year. I think this is outstanding news if you are a Chiefs fan of a guy who, again, he gets it, he did it, he is all the way in. When you said coastline, though, is it like, Table Rock Lake? Which coastline is he going? Weatherby Lake? Which coast line of the Midwest lakes is he running around?
No, I think he's out on the East Coast. He's like in Florida. He's been training and doing stuff in Florida, I believe. I think I saw something along the way, like a couple months ago. There was something like that, but I could be wrong on that. But it made sense when he said that because I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. There was something where it was like he was, in a area that was had water based area. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so wanted to get that out of the way because there was no fat shaming while the tweets were coming in yesterday about. I did love a couple of them that were like, well, you know what this guy doesn't understand is there's a sports element to this whole thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess I should figure that out. My bad. I'll do a little more studying on the sports part of it.
Anderson doesn't know ball.
Well, that's not any great revelation. You know what I mean? But I do know Tim Simons. And again, this is the indulge me part of the show. Okay, so we're going to take a timeout. We're hanging out here at Lake Tahoe, and everybody's getting ready to start their rounds. It's staggered throughout the day and the afternoon, so which is cool because those shotgun starts sometimes make it difficult to get people on. But this being staggered throughout the rest of the afternoon is really cool. So we'll take a timeout. We'll come back and talk with Tim Simons, and then we are expected to be joined by The Miz, and we'll talk to Matt Derrick, Cliff Illig, and we'll see who else stops by along the way. More Zone coming up next.
Want to see more of The Zone? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch.
You take
It's and for most families, that means weeknights
you
on
take the program
sports
out, bud.
field. Kids camps.
What'd you say? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, man. Awesome. Awesome. Cool. So we'll probably be catching Matt Derrick late, which is fine because Cliff Illig isn't going to be here till right at, I guess, 11:30. So if we start Matt Derrick at 11:05, 11:06, something like that, because I think we'll probably be late with me going longer there, venting on Keatsman on his podcast this morning saying I was fat shaming Travis Kelce. So. Well, I will say, he spent the first 3 or 4 minutes talking about how great of a guy I am, and that he's known me and is friends with me for 20 years, and I'm incredibly talented and good, and he'd be the guy you want to be your best friend. He's the kind of guy you'd want to marry your daughter. He is one of the best in the business. And then he talked about it from Travis Kelce, look how good he looks. And then he said, but tell me what the difference is. It's the same thing I was doing. It's the same thing I did. Yeah. No, I swear to God, he spent the first 3 minutes before talking about my tweet. He spent the time saying all those things. It was very nice, and then he headlined it. 810 host fat shames Travis Kelce. That's perfectly Keats, right? So that's why I said tweets that were coming in, because there were plenty of Swifties that jumped on it and were attacking me for going after it. He looks beautiful then. I ain't saying he didn't. He got Taylor Swift. That's a beautiful man, Travis Kelce. You understand? And so, with Keatsman was like, it's the same thing I did. The only difference is sports media is afraid to tell you a year in advance. Can you imagine if sports media last year would have pointed out how out of shape and an embarrassment Travis Kelce was with his gut hanging over his belt? But you know what? Next year, when they tell you how out of shape Patrick Mahomes is, remember, I didn't wait a year to tell you because I don't care about being liked by the fans. That was his. Yes. So that's why I wanted to make a clarification that in no way, shape, or form did Patrick Mahomes say he's out of shape. Travis Kelce himself said I was out of shape. Okay, was he? Oh, let's go back and look now. Actually, you know what? Compared to now, yeah, he was out of shape. But at the time, you and I looked at him. Did we look at him and go, oh my God, Travis is going to take a step back this year because he looks fat? Not one time. He just looks like he's fucking 28 again.
Yeah, he looks younger.
Yes.
We got about a minute
All right.
and a half.
Cool.
So we're getting the Miz, I think, cut up and
Awesome.
now. So we're getting that figured out.
Yep.
But we
So
should be good to go.
Matt Derrick's just going to be on the phone for the one
Matt
segment.
Derrick on the phone, and is Cliff actually there with you?
Cliff will be here with me live. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the live segments will be Cliff, Matt, Cliff, and Jonathan, and after we get Jonathan done, and we back time with George Kittle. We'll play George Kittle after Jonathan Tom. I'll send you guys the list now that I know that we're going Simons and the Miz. Send you the list of the rest of the show. You and I will tape. Kyle will have to back time. Yeah, Kyle will have to back time to see what the 1 o'clock hour looks like and how much time we'll have. And we'll do an outro, and then Kyle can just let it run from, 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So
love that.
Let me put together what I'll put together what the rest of this looks like and send you that. So cool. Thanks, brother.
We're just going right to Simons, right?
Yep. Right to Simons. It's all self-contained. Miz is self-contained. Next time I'll need to be on is Matt Derrick.
Gotcha.
Cool. You can give me programming again.
Quality at warehouse prices.
Thanks, brother.
Mention 810 and score big with huge summer discounts.
Thanks for filling in too, man. I
Framing,
haven't said
trust
that yet.
Art and Frame Warehouse. Check out their work at
No problem.
framekc.com. Art and Frame Warehouse. Framing done right.
We continue hanging out here
Very
in Lake Tahoe.
Holy hot
Final
mic,
day of
Jason.
race
Shut up.
cast As the tournament gets underway today, our coverage presented by Bobsite Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, again, asphalt and concrete. Joining us now, he's participating in the tournament starting today with the next 3 rounds. He's 300 to 1. It's Tim Simons. You know him from a number of different things. One of my favorite shows of all time is Veep. But Tim, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thanks so much. I just want to say, big fan of their concretes. Thank you guys for sponsoring. Always been a big fan of your work. I feel like the mix you guys have, it has like a sort of an elasticity, but once it settles, like it's in there for life. So thank you guys for your good work.
And the thing is, with the World Cup coming next year, we want to make sure that all of the asphalt and concrete is ready to go to host the World.
That's my number one. Like the thing that keeps me up at night, honestly, is that the asphalt and concrete is not going to be ready for the World Cup next year. That's what keeps me up at night. I have 2 kids. They're doing fine.
Yeah.
Or honestly, they may not be because I'm worried about the concrete. And I keep trying to tell them that they're not. And they're like, Dad, no, I'm not doing as well in school. Can I get a tutor? And I'm like, don't talk to me right now. I've got to figure this out.
Sitting with Tim Simons.
Like 300 to 1 is sort of about where I should be. I feel like that's about right.
Okay. No, but you know what? I think you're like the 2 to 1 favorite to be the funniest guy on the course. I don't know.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. That's something I'm actually good at.
Yes, 100%. How did you get started? Was it stand-up? Was it comedy? Was it acting? Because you're also in Nobody Wants This. It's out on Netflix that my wife and I have been watching, so enjoy that one. But again, Veep, one of my favorite shows of all time. How do you get started in that?
I actually started in college, and sort of long story short, I had like a rough transition into college. I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't meeting a lot of people, and I ended up just auditioning for like 10-minute plays in my first semester of college. And I just got the bug like everybody gets. I think everybody gets the bug a lot earlier in their lives than I did. I just kind of caught it during college, and by the end of that year, I was like, I'm switching my major, and kind of just dedicated myself to it after that. I came up in indie theater. I kind of initially imagined that I would like travel around working at like Shakespeare companies all around the country and doing that kind of thing. And then kind of always found myself being cast as the funniest person in the darkest play. That was sort of where I lived, and so I moved to Chicago.
Already typecast
early. I moved to Chicago. Chicago has like an incredible independent small theater scene, and I really liked the idea of like being a part of new plays, being a part of new stuff. So I never did improvisation in Chicago. I never did stand up. I love stand up, but I would be terrible at it. So I never did that. I've always just done, kind of came up through theater, moved out to LA in the hopes of working in film and TV, and in some weird way, it actually happened.
It's interesting because it seems like a lot of paths for comedians and those who play funny characters in movies and TV came up through the comedy realm. And then they got into the acting part of it. You came up through the acting part of it. And was it just the natural comedic timing that you had being a part of it? Was it something you developed over time?
I think I grew up a comedy nerd. So I grew up watching stand-up and watching Saturday Night Live. And was always like a little bit of like a benign troublemaker in school. Like I was always trying to be the funniest person in class. Like that was sort of what I was into. So I think by the time I was acting, I had developed a pretty good sense of timing and comedy, but was really attracted to the character parts of theater, and that's sort of what I had to learn, and that's what I had to get better at. So yeah, I don't know. I always felt I think I ended up in that way, like being the funniest person in the darkest shows. Like that was like a spot that spoke to me. It's like that's where you belong, and I think that really helped when it got to be because. Weirdly, it is a very dark show that ends up being incredibly fun. Like
one of the funniest shows I think that has ever been.
If you look at the stuff that they're talking about on paper, none of it should be funny, but somehow they found a way to make people laugh. And so I think that's why that was my first big job, and I think that's why I enjoy being a part of it so much, is because it felt like a home for me. The process of it, we had this insane rehearsal process. It was like script workshopping in theater, and so it felt, even though I didn't have a lot of experience in film and television, it felt like a place that I could succeed. We had an incredible ensemble that was immensely supportive, so I just kind of was able to hit the ground running on those things.
It's so interesting when you talk about that it's just like what was on paper technically wouldn't be funny, but that's your guys' job, right?
Yeah.
And I think that speaks to the talent and the cast of and the casting of those characters, because when it's presented, I mean, it's laugh out loud. It's I don't laugh too often out loud.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
I'm like, that's pretty good. That's pretty funny. You know, and probably a comic's favorite thing is for somebody to say, "Oh, that's funny." Yeah. Oh, really? Was it? Why didn't you laugh?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Is that funny? But some shows will like legitimately make me laugh out loud because of the writing and how it's delivered.
Yeah.
And I think that's the special part of what maybe creates the great shows. The writing is there and the delivery from the cast.
And I remember Dave Mandel, who was our showrunner for seasons 5, 6, and 7. He would always say this because people would come up to him and say, I want Selena Meyer to be our president. And he would say, no, you don't. What you want is for Julia Louis-Dreyfus to be your president. Because she was like Selena is one of the most vain and narcissistic, self-centered, awful people that exist. But Julia is so charismatic and so she's so charismatic, and she's such a wonderful presence on screen that because of that, because that's why you end up liking her, because she as a performer is so charismatic, even when as a character she's doing awful things.
Was it intimidating ever to be on the set with some of the people? And maybe Julia Louis, I mean, you grew up watching her and Seinfeld, and
it was intimidating going into the audition rooms, going into those things. But she is somebody who wants everybody else around her to succeed, and also is someone who is willing to give focus to other people in a cast because she is so talented. She knows she's going to be able to get focus back. And that is, I think, a rare trait in performers, especially somebody at the lead of a show. Sometimes people are unwilling to give spotlight because they internally worry they're never going to get it back. She was incredibly welcoming. And so all of that feeling of being nervous and feeling like you were out of your depth, she really created a great atmosphere to get over that.
I was going to, we're visiting with Tim Simons, and one of the things I've always wondered about comedic ensembles is sometimes there are personalities and actors that will just take over the scene, which can maybe be intimidating for somebody else that sort of like shrinks away from like, well, I can't match that. I can't do that. Was there ever anything like, with Beef when you've got Julia, and was there a tendency that anybody had to fight against of sort of like, bowing down is not the right word, but sort of just deferring to her in the scene and sort of backing off and letting her do her thing?
Who was it? It was, I mean, I think we all look to her because she has really good taste.
Yeah.
We would always really look to her to be like, hey, I had an idea. What do you think about this? And a lot of times she'd be like, try it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that there is, maybe the thing that you're speaking to is that sometimes in comedies, people can try to like plow through a scene with jokes that don't really have anything to do with like the meat of the scene that's underneath it. And I feel like that's where you get into trouble. And I've just been really lucky that everybody in both in Veep and in Nobody Wants This knows what the meat of the scene is. And if they're going to try to jump in with a joke, they know that it relates to what's going on in that scene. And it's not just a feeling of, well, I've got to get in there with a joke to make sure nobody forgets about me. You know what I mean? It's a very, but definitely there are times where even I see things and I'm like, oh, that person was just steamrolling everybody in that room. And that's just like, that's the worst feeling. But I've been very lucky in that I've never really had to deal with it.
How much of that show, you mentioned just going over the script and time and time again, but how much was it scripted and how much that made air was ad-libbed in those scenes?
I would say like it was a very scripted show.
Fuck him.
We had a rehearsal process that not a lot of shows do. That was like we filmed our first 4 seasons in Baltimore, and we would go out like 3 weeks early, and we would essentially script workshop. We'd sit down, we'd do a table read, we'd go up, we'd put the scenes to the side, and Armando, who was our showrunner at the time, would say, I think what this scene means is this element. And so then we would all jump in, and we would play reporters, we would play chiefs of staff, we would play armed forces generals, and just the idea being like, we're just going to throw stuff out and see if it brings this extra element to the scene. So then the writers would go away with the stuff that we had all worked on that day and write a new script. And so then by the time you got to set, Armando described it as like a stew. You just put everything in, you boil it down, you put more stuff in, you boil it down, more stuff in, you boil it down. So by the time you're on set, you've kind of already improvised around the entire thing, and you have a set script that you're working on. But then also they would say, all right, on this one, do the entire scene top to bottom. Don't use the same words, but hit the same beats.
Interesting.
And that just led to like moments where stuff would come out of nowhere. Somebody has a good idea, you can throw a joke in. And then I also will say, once trust was established, a lot of us would ask for forgiveness rather than permission. In that way of like, you can go up and explain a joke at Video Village for 5 minutes, or you could just do it in the scene, and if they laugh, they might like it, and just be like, yeah, do it again. You know what I mean? Or they're like, yeah, that works.
How many seasons did it take to do that before it became beg for forgiveness, then ask for
we had a really trusting ensemble, so we got there quick. We got there quick.
Yeah. Tim Simons is our guest, and Veep, and Nobody Wants This, and a number of other, voice acting roles as well. But looking back to Veep, because I want to, there's so many great things that came from that. How much of some of the things that took place that Julia Louis-Dreyfus, her character, and others around it, how much was taken from things that really happened?
A fair amount was taken from like sort of what would happen behind the scenes. Armando, we would go up to DC. We would meet with staffers throughout the process, and we would try to get a sense of what their lives were and try to get jargon that we could throw in. I am going to swear on your broadcast the term pencil that's used in the pilot was something we got a bunch of staffers drunk, and they started complaining because they worked in communications, and they were like, yeah, I wrote a speech today and my congressman completely penciled it. Like, it was a great speech and now it's garbage. Yeah. And so now it's unused. And so we went to set the next day and we were able to put that in.
Oh, amazing.
But then what invariably would happen every season is that we would, the writers would sit around and be like, what's the dumbest thing a politician would do? And then in between the time we had shot it and it came out, a politician in real life did that dumb thing. So it looked like we were ripping it off. When we did it, we were like, nobody's going to be this dumb.
Yeah.
And then somebody was that dumb. That was sort of how it worked out. Sometimes we were predictive, and sometimes we would take stuff from real life moments.
Because I was like wondering, like, was there like a presidential candidate that flew into the wrong city and got out to wave, and it was like, nope, you're in the wrong spot?
That was 100% based on a real, based on a real thing. I think it was the first Obama campaign. I think they flew into the wrong airport, and I think that we had pumped it up a little bit to be like, there was a whole crowd waiting, and like, the embarrassment of like all these people waiting in one city and they're in a different city. I think they had just gone to the wrong city, but there wasn't like a whole crowd waiting for them. So we pumped it up a little bit.
And then the other one that was great was stealing the speech, like stealing lines from a speech because you're up there before this person. So then it's like that they stole my line. That was my line.
Yeah. I can't think of a specific one, but I think that is rampant of just like, and I mean, honestly, like that's happens in Hollywood too. I mean, they have that thing about like DC is Hollywood for ugly people. Like there's like people say that like is that like you'll hear these nightmare stories about like being like a comedy table read, and one of the supporting characters get a big laugh on a line, and the lead of the show will be like, that's my line now. So, like, I feel like that happens in speeches where they're like, that's good, I'm taking it. And so, and again, luckily, I have never worked in a situation like that. But yeah, that I can't think of who that was, but that seems to be around a lot.
why'd they stop the show? I mean, was it just the perfect time that if you just keep going, it's going to get dry or stale?
I think
leave people wanting more, because that was certainly me.
I think ultimately there were a number of factors at play. I think we would have done it forever. We loved it so much, but all good things must come to an end. And like maybe leave a moment too soon rather than a moment too late. And there was that, but also by the time we were done, we were probably mid Trump's first term, and at that point, politics is unsatirizable. It cannot be satirized, and a lot of our show was what goes on behind the scenes versus what the candidate would say publicly, and like the differences between those two things. And you're seeing the complete erasure of somebody who just goes out and says the bad thing and doesn't try to hide it. And so then it becomes a lot harder to satirize that.
Yeah.
And so we're just kind of living in a sort of upside down political world. And I think that also factored into it. It made our jobs really hard.
Yeah.
Because whatever thing you thought was going to be too much would immediately get blown out of the water and be like, all right, well, we have to start from zero.
Like, well, he's saying that, but that would have been behind the scenes said, and we could have had a satiric sort of scene around that, but that's been said.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Tim Simons is our guest.
Huge fan of concrete. Just want to say it again. Huge fan of the concrete. So worried about it. I hope you guys can get it figured out.
We're on a path. We are on a path. We're on a path. Yeah, it's creating the path, and we're on that path, creating it to make sure that the world is ready to go here when the World Cup is in Kansas City. Feel free to come next summer to Kansas City for the World Cup.
I didn't realize that you guys are going to have games there.
Oh yeah. We are a few months away from which countries will be announced that we'll be hosting. Which countries? I think we're going for Germany. December is when I think Germany's the big push, that they want Germany to be based in Kansas City.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
That's so fun.
Because every host site has like specific countries that will have their home base there.
Okay.
And all their fans will go there to watch them train and practice. And so
that's really
a few countries I think that Kansas City's trying to get to make their home base. Because right in the middle, easy access everywhere.
Kansas City, Kansas, or Kansas City, Missouri?
Well, both.
Okay.
Both, yeah. So
what are you?
Well, I grew up in Missouri. I live in Kansas now, so I'm both. Just the Kansas City metropolitan area, all of it.
Okay.
Sporting plays in Kansas. Chiefs and Royals play in Missouri for now. We'll see where the Chiefs end up playing. There's also something going on. So all of that stuff. You excited about Mike Vrabel coming back, being the Patriots head coach?
I got to tell you, I wish I was more dialed in. I was all in on cutting the sleeves off my hoodies. Just speaking in a monotone, and I don't know. I have not followed it as closely as I could.
I get it. That's fine. The Chiefs take over. The dynasty's over.
Yeah.
The new champions are in town. Totally. One day probably happen to the Chiefs that they'll have to step aside and somebody else will be the new dynasty.
Yeah. All these things ebb and flow. Yeah. Having a generational quarterback probably helps.
Yeah. It is interesting. Like, we're sitting here as fans of teams, and the dynamic and probably the argument 10 years from now will be your quarterback or my quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's the greatest of all time?
Yeah.
It seems like it's barreling towards just those two.
Oh, you think there's going to be a debate about that? Well, that's really fun.
Well, how
sweet.
Well, I was thinking this, Tim, Tim Simons, our guest. I was thinking this. The other day, I was sitting down. I'm like, what am I going to talk about today? And it popped into my head. I'm like, what about LeBron versus Jordan? Like, why have we not figured out who's the GOAT? LeBron versus Jordan. I think we should really go down that. Like, that needs to be traversed more. That is just uncharted territory right now. So I was thinking it came up on my own. Like, LeBron versus Jordan, who's the GOAT? I think that should be talked about.
I think stats-wise, I'm like, look, I'm not the most dialed-in sports guy. It's one of those things. Should I wait a second?
No,
that's okay.
No, yeah. I mean, you cursed earlier, so if you background, it's not going to be a big deal.
You guys are probably really worried about the beeping.
Yeah.
Just use that beep to cover up what I said. I think
these GOAT conversations going. Come on.
Stats-wise, there kind of really isn't a comparison, except for like that thing of like the eye test. It seems to be like broken down between people that are like stats focused and then eye test focused, in that way that like people that enjoy, I guess, like, God bless Michael Jordan, the man is a psychopath. You know what I mean? And so if you like rooting for psychopaths and want them to be the best ever, then you're gonna be pretty locked in.
It's interesting because that seems to be some sort of a characteristic. Like Jordan was a psychopath on the court. Brady seems to be a psychopath in terms of winning on the field. And Eric, the enemy, Patrick Mahomes, offensive coordinator, said that Patrick Mahomes is a competitive prick.
Yeah,
This is what he called him. Like I guess that seems to be a trait that if you're going to be the GOAT, you got to be that. You want to destroy the other person.
Yeah, you kind of have to. I'm glad. I feel like I'm reasonably competitive, but I will never be the GOAT. I'm not that competitive.
No,
I just feel like I don't know. You got to go home and sleep at night sometime. I always think about it like, what if you were 25% less the worst person that ever lived, and you only won 4 championships? You know what I mean? That'd be a trade-off I'd be willing to take.
I say the same thing about Brady. It's a good point. Tim Simons, Pete, nobody wants this. Really enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much. I'm a big fan. I love your work. And what's coming up next for you? What are you working on right now?
I'm coming up. Second season of Nobody Wants This comes out October 23rd. And I'm in a couple movies that will be coming out later on this year, one of which I don't think I can say, and the other one I just don't know when it comes out.
So it's Top Gun, the next Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Yeah, so Miles Teller, Tim Simons.
Yeah.
You're playing Maverick's long-lost brother, or it would be Rooster's long-lost brother.
Rooster's long-lost brother, I'm terrified of flying.
They got to get you up in that plane.
They keep being like, you have to go up, and
they have both been captured. You're the only one that can save them for some reason. For some reason, you're the only one
looking around like, I see 40 other pilots here.
It's got to be this guy. I'm not sure what is called. Walrus. Come on, Walrus. You're up. Asphalt, concrete. You're up. It's not like
it would actually be a pretty dope call signal.
Tim Simons, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure, man. This is really fun.
Absolutely. We'll take a time out. We'll come back. More Zone next.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, Stephen St. John. When I was having problems with my AC, I called Summit Heating and Cooling. They took care of me fast. If you need help now, visit summithckc.com to schedule today. If you're looking for the top, reach for the Summit. Summit Heating and Cooling.
Get ready for Jurassic-sized fun this summer at the Kansas City Zoo and Aquarium. Don't miss the brand new Dinosaurs Around the World exhibit produced by Imagine, running now through August 24th. Life-size animatronic dinosaurs will be located throughout the top side of the zoo, all included in your zoo general admission or membership. Grab a dino checklist as you enter the zoo to ensure you find them all.
Man, I didn't realize the mics were that hot. That interview, shit.
Stephen St. John here.
Oh, well.
Is your lawn ready to be the envy of the neighborhood? Custom
Say
lawn.
again, Jason.
Well, I said, man, I didn't realize the mics were that hot when I was doing the interview. I should have been.
I was just talking to the people back here, Jason, about that, and we're teaching less is more. We can always make it.
Yeah, for sure. Yep, I had no idea. In my headset, it sounded fine, and so I'm like, all right, let's go. So yeah. Yep, and it's different. Yep. Yeah, no, it's my fault out here. I should know what my mic level is. So, but I blame them back there too. It's mainly their fault back there. But I will take 5% of the responsibility, Todd, just because I'm a man. You know what I mean? Hopefully the other ones aren't like that. Shit. Oh man.
That was 10 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them were fine. Dylan edited them pretty good tonight.
Yeah.
Last night, I think.
Yeah, that was nice of him. Yeah, but we're good with the Miz. He did not cuss.
Yeah, we're good with the Miz.
Cool. He was really funny too, but he did not cuss. So. And then we'll
season tickets are on sale today.
Be late with Matt, which is fine. Sorry with Matt.
To rep the crimson and blue all season long. Secure your spot today. KUathletics.com. That's KUathletics.com.
Carne Diem in Briarcliff is serving up a $35 steak pack. 4 hand-selected beef steaks and your choice of 4 beers or a bottle of wine. That's 4 steaks and 4 beers or a bottle of wine. All for $35. Carne Diem in Briarcliff. Check them out.
What's that sound? That's the sound of Downy Unstoppable scent beads going into your washing machine and giving your clothes freshness that lasts all day long. There it is again.
Kittle is going to
It's
be
like music to your ears, or more like music to your
12:45
nose. That freshness is
Thank you, sir.
irresistible. Let's get a Downey Unstoppable
It'll be after Jonathan
sponsorship.
Thomas.
And now
So,
a Smith solo. Nice. With Downey Unstoppable, you just toss, watch, wow.
Jonathan should
from
only be
all
like
day
15
breakfast.
minutes. So that should put us at
People
12:45
just
for
know they
Kittle.
could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate
George
first.
Kittle.
Like, you know to check you have your phone first, before the cab pulls away.
Hey, thanks, man.
Okay.
No, wait, my phone, come back. It's my boarding pass, credit cards, phone numbers, my life.
Checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate.
States vary. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, hanging out in Lake Tahoe, American Century Championship. Our coverage presented by Bobsite Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, and GAN Asphalt and Concrete. Joining us now is Mike the Miz here in Lake Tahoe. What's going on, man? How are you?
I'll tell you what's going on. Shade. I'm in the sun.
I don't know.
I sat down and I went, oh, look at him.
Yeah.
Putting all his guests in the beating sun. I'm getting burnt while you're in the beautiful shade. We are literally, if you saw this, we are literally 3 feet apart.
Yeah.
There's one spot that's shade and one spot that is sun.
Yeah.
He put me in the sun. That's what I'm feeling
This
right
is
now.
Field of Dreams, and these are the rocks.
You have,
okay, if you pass this, then you go back to being
You got the
Mike
spot.
Graham as the doctor.
You got
know?
the spot.
Yeah, I didn't do this on purpose. I did not do this on purpose. This was done to
You
me.
could have done this setup so much differently. You
Yeah.
could have put this table and you could have put it into the shade, but you decided, I want my guests to sweat.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know,
want to hit
you're in the hot seat
hard-hitting
now.
questions.
You're in the hot
I
seat
like
now.
it.
You got to answer the questions
Let's
here.
do it.
Come on, let's do it, man. Let's answer these questions.
First question.
How's the golf game?
Golf game's doing well. I started a YouTube channel because of the American Century Championship and how much passion I have for it. I love this tournament. Every year, it's the thing that I mark on my calendar that I just absolutely look forward to. This is, I'm competitive. I like to be competitive. I have not been competitive in this tournament in 3 years. I was looking at my scores, and let me tell you, my scores went from a -60, and that might sound good. It's not. You're supposed to be in the positives. Like Marty Fish got an 83, a plus 83, and I got a -60. That's how far apart we are. And then my second year, I got a -56, and third year, I got a -50. Each time, there's 91 people in there. The first time, I got 83rd place, then I got 90th place, and then I got 83rd place. So those are my places that I've been, but I started a YouTube channel. I started getting coached by really great coaches. George Gangus out in Westlake Village is incredible. James Ledbetter, his sister is actually playing in the tournament. And he's caddying for her, not for me, which I'm a little upset
That's
because
interesting. Yeah.
I have one of my buddies
Whoa.
caddying for me, and
Yeah.
she's got a pro like James Ledbetter. So, I've been training with them, and I feel like my game has gotten better. My score hasn't shown that, but I feel like my knowledge, my IQ of the game has gotten better. And I was just putting over there, and I was sinking everything. The problem is, 3 holes in, I'm par, birdie, par. Then I get like an 8 or a 12 or a 15 because I'll hit it in the water. Then I'll be like, all right, I got to take a 3. So then I come back to the shot, and then I got to take a 5 because I hit it. I overcorrect myself. Right. That's just what I do.
That competitive part, I have a feeling that anything you do, it's going to be to where I want to be better at this in Lake Tahoe. So I'm going to start this YouTube channel so I can perform better, improve, be better at the golf game so I can have better results there in Tahoe. Like, it doesn't feel like there might be anything in your life that's just like, you know what, I'm just going to go with the flow on this.
Big believer in do what you love. What do you love to do? Obviously, you love being on the radio.
And
You love
sitting
to
in the
talk.
shade.
You love sitting in the shade and asking questions.
Yes.
That's what you love to do. What I love to do is I like to perform in front of a live audience, and WWE allows me to do that. But what else do I love to do on my off time? I love to golf. Okay, let's make a job out of it. Let's do what I love doing and get money for it. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to make it my job. And then you also can tell the wife, I got to work, babe. I got to go golfing. Why do you always have to go golfing? Because it's my job.
I've got to watch the Royals game.
Yeah.
I got to watch the Chiefs game.
Exactly.
All right, the game is on tonight. What do you want me to do? All right, I've got to watch this game too because we're going to talk about it tomorrow. Like that's going to be the first hour of our conversation is going to be
So
that
he didn't
game.
actually believe you?
I am working, son. I mean, I get it. You see me sitting here watching games. This is work for Daddy.
Yeah.
Okay. This is
Exactly.
where I'm not just hanging out here. You know, I'm working. All right. I got to pause my work so I can put you to bed. You know,
Yes.
this is tough stuff I'm dealing with right here. The Miz is our guest here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. So that's Miz Golf is the YouTube channel.
Yeah, Miss Golf, the YouTube channel. It's basically it's a lot of fun, right? It doesn't take itself too seriously, but if you watch it, you'll learn. Like from my mistakes, I'm asking pros, PGA professionals who have done schooling for this that show you the techniques that you can learn from me. I'm an 18 handicap. That's not a good handicap. But so anyone can watch this, whether you're a 1, a scratch, or an 18, anyone can watch this and learn and get better at golf. And it's entertaining. So definitely go to Ms. Golf, like and subscribe.
The Miz is our guest. Take me back to when you first got into first got into wrestling to now. How much is your sort of knowledge and ability in the ring? You know, ability out here on the course, but ability in the ring different as a wrestler, as a WWE superstar from when you first got there and you were learning the ropes. No pun intended.
Man, I'll tell you what. I thought I knew everything when I walked in the door of WWE. You know, you walk in, you think you're confident, you're bravado. I was 25 years old. I got signed in WWE, and I was like, "Oh my God, I made it!" And then I learned as I was like a sponge. I was trying to take everything in, but I also felt like not necessarily that I knew everything, but you don't realize what you don't know until I'm sitting here 22, 23 years later, and I'm like, I felt like I was amazing back then, and now I realize how terrible I was, and not necessarily terrible, but like just things that I.
Jason, you there? Yo, anybody there?
Yep. You, okay. So I made a bad choice then with the Tim Simons instead of Matt Leinart. It's my fault.
So, Dewey was one. Cliff Illick's going to be there at 11:25 with 15 minutes left and what? Probably a 4-minute break, 5-minute break. That's going to put you almost at 10 or 11:20.
Yeah, we'll probably have to cut Matt. That sucks. That's my fault.
Like 15 with Matt.
Well, that we'll be able to do that. Shit. Well, that sucks. That's my fault. I should have played Matt Leinart. Hmm. All right. Could shit. Let me think. Let me think. Um, yeah, we'll just have to cancel Matt. Shit, it sucks. Yeah, yeah, you can just text him.
Yeah, I'll give him
That
a call.
sucks. All right, that's my fault. I chose
No, you're good.
poorly. I should have went Matt
I'll
Leinart.
give him
Cool. All right, brother. Cool.
Yep.
You know, in WWE, was there because of your personality? It just seems natural that wherever you go, it's a natural energy around you to entertain. Is that something you just as you grew up? It's like you know, this is what's going to be the future for me.
When I was a kid, I was always drawn to the camera, right? I was a big ham for the camera. I loved anytime there was a camera, like my dad had the VHS camera out. I was performing in front of it. So I always loved to perform. Did I ever think that I would be on TV? No, because when you grow up from Parma, Ohio, you go to high school. After high school, you go to college. After college, you go back to Parma. You get a family, you get a job, and that's what you do for the rest of your life. That's what's supposed to be done. At least that was my mentality, right? That's what I felt like a lot of my friends and I were that was our mentality. So once I got on the real world, it made me realize I didn't have to do that anymore. And so I didn't think I'd get on the real world, but it was weird. So before I was on the real world, not many people know this. I was on a show called Census Acts of Spring Break. For college, my buddies and I went to Cancun, and I saw that MTV Spring Break was going to be there. And I said, I'm going to go try out. All my buddies said, oh, we're going to go to the beach. I went to Fat Tuesdays and literally walked in and did an audition. And my audition was sitting at a table just like this. I was in the sun. They were in the shade. And they asked me, what would you do to be on TV? I go, what do you want me to do? And they go, well, would you eat a ton of really, really hot peppers? I go, yeah. I go, how are you with peppers? I go, not good, but I'll do it. And so there was four contestants, right? One guy got his tongue, a girl got his tongue pierced. A guy got his tongue pierced. A girl showed her upper portion of her body. Yeah. And I ate peppers, hot peppers. And let me tell you, when I ate those peppers, I stuffed them in my face. Juices were running down my body as I was doing, and it was burning not just my mouth, but my entire body. Like I had red marks all over me. Who do you think won that competition? The young lady.
Yeah, I was going to say
the young
lady,
sweetheart of a lady won, and I was like, I couldn't believe it, but I was on TV, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So then that August, I was sitting in my what's it called, my dorm or my fraternity. Theta Chi represent. And
Delta Chi, let's fight. I'm
there
joking.
we go.
We're not going to fight.
So I went in there and I saw on TV that I was watching Real World New Orleans and they had on there, hey, try out for the Real World. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that. I tried out for Census Acts of Spring Break. Why couldn't I try out for the Real World? Tried out for the Real World. Back then, 60 to 80,000 people try out. Everyone would say, what's going to stand you out? Well, all my friends were like, why would you try out? We love the show, but you're not going to make it. I said, why not?
Yeah.
What do I have to lose? Right. So I tried out and made it.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what? I'm going to try to be a WWE superstar. After I was off the Real World, everyone was like, why would you do that? You're not going to make it. Like,
if you wouldn't make it on the MTV in Cancun, would you be at WWE?
No.
Because you wouldn't have done the Real World, or just like, I'm not going to make it, or
well, I would have done the Real World. Yes, I would have tried out for the Real World. If I didn't make it on the Real World, I don't think I'd be where I am today.
Yeah. That's where a lot of people got to know you, and that's when the persona came about, the Miz.
Yes.
Was it created in the Real World?
Yes.
There on that season?
Yes.
How did that happen?
I was uncomfortable in my setting. I'm usually a guy that I don't make good first impressions because I'm a lot. I know now I'm 44 years old. I'm 44 years old, right?
Okay,
I know myself now. You know, when you're 20s, 30s, you're getting to know yourself. You don't understand when you walk into a room, you're too much.
100%. Yeah.
I am too much. I know I'm too much. So now I've been able to still be myself, but know hey, you're making a first impression here. Might want to tone it back a little bit so people can understand you first and then get to know you and then do it.
Yeah.
So I tend to be a lot. I forgot the question. Sorry.
No, it's just
I go on tangents.
No, we were you creating the Miz there.
I'm very uncomfortable. So I made a first impression on everybody, on my entire cast. Usually, I'm able to make friends.
Yeah.
I was not able to make friends on the Real World. I made enemies, I guess you could say, and people hated me, and I was uncomfortable. I was out of my comfort zone. I was in New York City. I've never been to New York City, and anyone that's ever been to New York City come from Parma, Ohio. It's an eye-opening experience, and you're not used to it. And I have cameras following me around every second of my life, 24/7. Not comfortable there, so everything was just coming to fruition, and I said, enough. I'm sick of this, and I just started cutting promos on people, and I would call it the Miz. And so the Mike wouldn't get repercussions. The Miz would. But then they liked the Miz more than they liked Mike.
Yeah.
They'd always ask me to do the Miz, do the Miz, do the Miz, do the Miz. So that's how the Miz was created.
It's so great, man. I watched that season as it was happening. I mean, I was a huge Real World fan because back in the day, that was 2001, so I was 21 years old, and it was like, man, I want to be on the Real World so bad. I tried out for the Real World in Lawrence. And I can't remember which season it was, but I remember being there. There were 6 of us at this table, and we were trying out, and they were just asking us different questions.
Yep, I did that same thing.
Yeah, and one of the girls girls had mentioned that at a party she broke a coffee table because she was doing a strip dance on it. The rest of us left. She was kept for the next round.
Do you want to hear another story?
I was like, oh, dang it. Why didn't I say that?
So I sent in a video, right? And I made it to the next round where you have to fill out a 50-page application. So I filled out the 50-page application. And once I did that, my buddies started seeing like I was making it. And so one of my buddies like, hey, there's a audition in Detroit. Will you drive up there with me and audition with me? I go, yeah. So we went up to Detroit, got there around, I would say 11 p.m., waited in line until 9 a.m. when it opened.
Wow.
Probably got in there about noon. And we did the exact same thing. 6 people at a table. Me and my buddy were there. I was telling stories. He didn't really say much. And then afterwards, the lady was like, hey, can you stay back? I just have to ask you a question. I was like, sure. Stayed back. I had to fill out that same 50-page application again.
Did they say, they said, we just need to ask you a quick question to the girl. Like, just one quick question. Yeah, no, you guys can go, and then they'll let you know what's next. That line was so long. We were in this huge. It was like back and forth and back and forth. I mean, we waited 3 or 4 hours to sit there for 5 minutes.
Yep.
And that was it. I'm like, well, that was dumb.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was an experience, right? It wasn't dumb for me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, who knows? It could have been The Miz. No, not going to happen at all. But I do want to talk to you about something that I'm pumped about, and that is American Gladiators coming back, because I saw that and I'm like, okay, one, thank God. Two, how perfect it is for The Miz to be hosting American Gladiators.
Oh, thank you.
How did that come about? How did this opportunity and bringing back and reprising this, what I think is an American classic?
So I was a huge fan of American Gladiators growing up, like big fan. I think my role models, my heroes were WWE superstars and American Gladiators, right? I mean, they're just larger than life. They're big characters. And so I just fell in love with the game. So my agent called me up and said, hey, you got a big meeting. And I go, with who? And they go, MGM and Prime. And I go, okay, what's it on? And he goes, American Gladiators. I go, I'm getting this one. And he goes, okay, yeah, all right. He sends me on a bunch of meetings, right? Okay, he goes, look, there's like 10 people like in it, like go doing these interviews. You just need to impress them. I go, don't you worry about that. Like I'm such a big fan of American Gladiators. I went to the live shows back in the 90s, right? Like, so I went to what was Gund Arena. It's Rocket Mortgage now, but I went to those shows. I saw them. My dad brought me to them. I still remember watching Atmosphere, thinking, my hamster is just gonna, I mean, that looking like guys look like hamsters, right?
Is this guy get past Nitro or not?
Like, go into this meeting, and I'm telling you, there's probably like 7 people in this meeting, and I'm just talking to them like, in my goal, I almost was talking to him like, how can we make this what it was back then for the kids nowadays? Like, how are you going to do that? I was asking them questions that I don't think other people were asking, because I was so passionate. I wanted this to succeed, whether I was hosting it or not, because I just loved American Gladiators, like WWE and American Gladiators. Like, those were my 2 things. And now I'm doing them.
Yeah.
Like, and so I got out of the meeting. My agent called me, goes, I don't know what you did. That went really well. I go, well, how do you know? He goes, they called me literally right after. And we're like, we got to take a couple more meetings, but man, that was good. And then I got the call saying I was going to be the host of American Gladiators. And I was like, okay. So talking to the showrunner, Daniel Kalin, who, let me tell you something. I've dealt with showrunners, and I've had many great showrunners. Daniel not only took the nostalgia of what we loved and knew as children, but he also, and not just him, honestly, it was MGM, it was Prime Video, and it was the entire team of writers and producers. They got the nostalgia right. They picked the Gladiators. The casting was so well done. Like, you look at our Gladiators, they hit. I mean, I just got done filming.
Oh, well.
Jason, you want to take a break before Cliff or go straight into him?
No, we'll take a break because he's not even going to be here, I think until like 11:30. So
right, cool. So we got less than 10 minutes now till we're back live. About 8.
Okay, cool. So it'll be about a 6-minute segment then live.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
More planning. Man, do they hit hard. On my part. And the contenders, the stories they have are unbelievable. Like, this is life-changing money for them. Like, it's when you say blood, sweat, and tears, that is what they are giving to try to win American Gladiators and be that American Gladiator champion. And so we have new games, but we also have the old games. And so, we brought the old with the new, the nostalgia that you love, but also we upped the ante, right? We made it like this set is so gorgeous. And so, man, everything about it, I'm ecstatic for people to see it and watch it and love it. And I can't wait. And it's going to be on Amazon Prime Video. And I can't wait for people to see it.
I'm pumped about it. The Miz is our guest. Do you and John Cena actually get along out of the ring, or does this thing continue?
John's one of those people that taught me everything.
Yeah.
Taught me so
while the rivalry was going on.
While the rivalry was going on, he was unbelievable at teaching me how to become a main event superstar. Like I was talking to you before about how when I was younger, I was like, oh, like I knew everything. John taught me that I didn't know everything. That when I was in the ring, he knows exactly how to get an audience to do what he needs them to do. When do they need to do it? So he taught me how to be a conductor in the ring.
Wow.
And know what to do when something's happening. When the crowd is dead silent, what do you do? So now I know exactly what I need to do. I can feel an audience. He taught me how to feel an audience and hear an audience. And he'd always be like, do you hear him? And I go, yeah, man, I hear him. Like I hear him. And he's like, you're not listening. You're not listening to the crowd. And I'm like, dude, I am listening. I hear them telling me I suck. I hear them chanting that. I get it. And he's like, you're just not listening. And then it took me a while. But then it started getting it. Him, Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, Triple H, I've been so fortunate to learn from them. And now I hope to make our new generation learn, because they don't get to wrestle with them anymore. John, this is the last time we're going to see him in the ring.
Right.
They don't get to learn from John Cena. So I have to teach everything that John Cena taught me, and Randy Orton's still here. But Triple H no longer, Shawn Michaels no longer, Undertaker no longer. Like, these are all guys that I've gotten to work with.
Wow.
I've had stories with. I've gotten to be inside a ring and have the knowledge that they have bestowed upon me. And now it's my gift or whatever, my gift to give to the younger generation because they can't get in the ring. Shawn Michaels can talk to them.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between being in the ring with Shawn Michaels and getting talked to by Shawn Michaels.
Was there a moment where you were at the beginning, like, what am I doing? Oh my God.
I couldn't believe it.
I'm here in the ring. Was there an event, an opponent that was like, what am I?
Every time I step into a ring.
Wow.
I have that, even right now, every time I step into the ring, I get that moment. I don't care who I'm going up against. I cherish all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. You have to.
Yeah.
Not everyone gets to do what I get to do.
Yeah.
So if you're not loving what you're doing, get out, because someone else that loves it, that truly loves it, is going to do it.
The Miz, our guest. You're the man. I appreciate it. Love seeing you out here every year.
And hey, how about American Century putting on a hell of a show?
Yeah.
I mean, this entire week is absolutely incredible between NBC Sports, American Century, Bravo.
Yeah.
Like, this is, if you're not here, like, watch it on TV, you're going to see how fun it truly is. And sometimes that's what I feel like is missing in golf. And that's why I have my YouTube channel, Ms. Golf.
Ms. Golf.
Bring some fun life into it.
It all comes full circle.
It all comes full circle.
Callback. That's great.
And Edgewood, what a golf course.
It's fantastic. An American Century, great Kansas City company.
Yes.
Fantastic stuff. Miz, you're awesome, man. I appreciate you stopping by.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Good
Appreciate
luck.
You. No need for luck when you're this good. Marty Fisher coming after you.
There's the Miz here on Sports Radio 810. More Zone right after this.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, Sorrent Metro here. Stop out or be listening when we broadcast the program this Friday from Cedar Crest Lodge in Pleasanton, Kansas. There you'll find a mix of nature and comfort, stunning views, a 27-acre lake, pitching, a heated pool, and on-site spa. Whether you're planning a romantic weekend or a mental health break, you'll find it 45 minutes south of Overland Park at Cedar Crest Lodge. I'll tell you all about it when we broadcast the program live from Cedar Crest Lodge. We'll be there Friday on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
We're Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for home sweet home. We're for condos, tutors, single wides, and studios. We're for ranches, houseboats, 2 stories or 20. Red cedar, bluebirds, white squirrels, black walnuts, whatever's out your back door, we're for that. We're for watching the sun rise over the Mississippi and set over the Missouri. We're for kicking off your heels in a high-rise or hanging up your hat in the boot heel. And if you have a home in Missouri, we have a policy for you.
I'm Steve Shedd, your Missouri Farm Bureau insurance agent. And if you're in Clay County, I've got you covered.
It's summer in Kansas City, and for most families, that means weeknights on the sports fields, kids' camps, pool days, and hustling back and forth with no time to prepare meals. Joe's KC Barbecue has you covered this summer with the Joe's To Go app. Dinner will be on the way without opening the door. All of your smoked favorites are just a few clicks away on the Joe's To Go app. Order for 1 or 100. Don't spend your summer in a drive-thru. Swing by Joe's for that traditional AC competition barbecue and tell them SFJ sent you.
The world is coming to Kansas City. Will your parking facility be ready? Gann Asphalt and Concrete is your winning team for all your parking lot needs. From faded lines to crumbling sidewalks, potholes that leave a lasting impression. Gann Asphalt and Concrete is your winning team for all things parking lot. They even have the expertise to prepare your property for what's next. Trusted, reliable, ready. Don't wait until it's too late. Let Gann Asphalt and Concrete help you pave the way forward. Visit GannAsphalt.com. Gann Asphalt and Concrete. One contractor, all things parking lot.
It's been over 2 years since Bobby Carpenter had regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics. He needed relief from knee pain, but he wanted to avoid surgery.
I thought I might have to have my knee scoped, had some injuries, some lingering pain from stuff that I had been dealing with from years of playing professional football and things that kind of flared up again. Started talking to a friend of mine who's orthopedic. And he said, well, try to avoid surgery if you can.
And you absolutely can avoid surgery. QC Kinetics provides patients with state-of-the-art regenerative treatments, orthobiologics from your own body that help heal and restore damaged, aching joints. And
Cliff is
we'll
still
let
good for
Bobby tell
15
you
minutes
about
from
that.
now. It was all of a sudden that one day, a couple months later, I was here, let's go jog, let's try to see what I can do. And
We
the
have
more
we have like a 7-minute open segment, but
Going
if he was
under
gonna
the
be a little
knife.
bit
See
later,
if you're a
I
candidate
was
for
just gonna go ahead and play
non-surgical
a
joint pain
different interview
treatments
here
at QC
instead of
Kinetics.
just doing
Call
an
them
open
today.
Call
and having to
QC
waste an
Kinetics,
interview and not use it.
816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299.
Yeah.
816-412-6299.
Ready to
All right.
reconnect with nature? The Mo Outdoors app from the Missouri Department of
Because we don't have anything.
Conservation makes it easy.
We don't have
Find
anything
conservation
after Cliff
areas, boat
scheduled for this
accesses, and
hour.
nature centers near you.
Let me see.
Plus, get maps, directions, and check area features right from your phone. Best part? It's free. So what?
1 minute.
Fishing or
Yeah.
exploring trails in Missouri. Let Mo Outdoors
So then we'll have
be
like
your
an
guide.
8-minute segment here.
Download it today and discover nature your way. Sponsored by the Missouri Department of Conservation.
Terrible
KCFX
HD4 Harrisonville, K279PI, Kansas City, 103.7 FM. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
Robert Brogdon's 30. MC has been Kansas City's go-to dealership since 1995. They're proud to offer the area's biggest selection and best deals on new vehicles. Save up to $14,000 on new GMC Sierra or drive away in a new Buick with 0.9% APR and no payments for 90 days. Hundreds of vehicles, thousands in savings, one trusted name. Visit robertbrogdon.com or stop by I-35 in Santa Fe. Robert Brogdon Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Link to term varies for special APR, must qualify and finance through GMF.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Sterling Holmes, Kyle Collier. We hang out here in Lake Tahoe, American Century Championship. Our coverage presented by Bobsite Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, and Gann Asphalt and Concrete as our coverage here. We're going to talk with Cliff Illig here in about 5 minutes. So we're going to do like a quick little segment here and take a break, and then we'll talk with him about 11:25 or so. But thank you to The Miz. Thank you to Tim Simons. I said that you guys can indulge me with the Tim Simons one and The Miz as well. And certainly we'll get into a lot of sports stuff with Cliff Illig coming up. We'll talk with Trey Wingo. We'll talk with Jonathan Thomas. We're going to be joined by Jason Worth. We're going to be joined by, gosh, who else are we talking to today? And whoever else stops by.
Sterling Holmes.
Yes, we're going to talk with Sterling. George Kittle, is supposed to be on the schedule, so let's hope he's here at the driving range. So planning on talking with him. And Rich Eisen was part of the celebrity karaoke last night. Talked with him, and so he said he was going to make his way over today before he teed off in his round as well. But Sterling, you've been out here. You never know when guys if they're able to make it over or not. So we will find out. But looking forward to those conversations here out in Lake Tahoe. So we'll see. How's everything going back in KC, brother?
Was great until I asked the interns about Kirk Gibson and Willis Reed, and they looked at me dumbfounded.
What did you ask them about that for?
Well, the Petro situation with the injury that he's grinding through, that he's just an absolute trooper for. And so I told him, I go, this is your Willis Reed moment, Petro. I said that at the golf tournament yesterday morning. And so, like, I want these interns, if they know ball, if they even care about what came before them, and the answer is no. They don't care about history. They go, well, he was born in 1942. Why should I know that? In history. In history.
Yeah, I mean,
1970s NBA Finals. Willis Reed, severely torn muscle off his thigh, comes out and scores the first 4 points for the Knicks, 2 for 2. Come on.
did you explain?
What are we doing here?
Did you explain Paul Pierce and grinding
When
through
he had to
that?
Go out.
They know Paul Pierce.
Okay, I didn't know
know
if
what
they.
happened to Paul Pierce.
I don't know.
Do you know what happened? Why he didn't get carried? What
No,
was the
I don't know
stain?
why he got injured.
Got it. They got it.
He
Yeah.
got Sterling. He was injured. Okay.
It was a Lamar Jackson situation.
Yeah, he was injured.
They
Okay.
bleep his pants. That's what they asked me.
Nope. He
Look
was
at
injured.
Gibson, come on. You know Vin Scully is in the year that's been so improbable, the impossible has happened. Come on.
By the way,
knows Kirk Gibson.
well, yeah. By the way, Sterling, because Cliff is on site here, so I don't want to spend too much time and keep him waiting. But Chris Harrison is walking around here, formerly of the Bachelorette series, and his wife Lauren, now Lauren Harrison, but was Lauren Zima. She worked at Entertainment Tonight. She went to Mizzou, and we are at the celebrity karaoke last night, and we are around Chris Harrison and his wife are like maybe 5 to 10 feet behind us, and we're just hanging out there. And Mike Vrabel, I think, does Mr. Brightside. And now again, she went to Mizzou. He did Mr. Brightside, and so it got to the I'm Mr. Brightside. And there were a few, maybe me indulging and having a little fun in the revelry, offered the colorful words that are inserted there at Mizzou games. And she immediately judged. She's like, "Whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute!" And she came over and she was talking about all of her best friends are from Kansas City, and I think she hung out with us the rest of the night. Like she was dancing with all of us the whole time, and her and Chris got up there and did a song. She came back down and was dancing. She was going crazy, and the whole time. And like Chad and those guys, went to KU, and so she'd be taking a picture, and she's like, "Okay," she said the F word. They go rock chalk. She goes, "No, bleep chalk." That's what we say, right? Not cheese. Bleep chalk on 3. It was pretty funny last night. So there was, even here in Lake Tahoe with some celebrities, there was the KUMU sort of friendly jabbing and ribbing going on back and forth. Thought you'd
It's
enjoy
always
that.
very friendly.
Thought you'd
Always
enjoy
very
that.
friendly.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take it.
Kyle loves it too.
Yeah, well, he should. It was fun, And Chris Harrison was just like, "I don't know what's going on here. I have no idea what you guys are talking about or doing. I don't know, whatever." And then Joe Buck got up there last night, and he said, "Are there any Royals and Chiefs fans in here?" Yeah. He goes, "Yeah. I just want you to know that I definitely hate your teams. Okay, that's what I think about all the time, He's like, "No, I'm obviously kidding. I don't hate the Royals. I don't hate the Chiefs. I don't hate the Dodgers. I don't hate the Yankees. I don't hate the Cardinals. I don't hate the Cowboys. I don't hate I don't." And he's just started naming off all these teams. Like, "I don't hate your team. Okay, I know that you all think I do, but as we get the song started, I just wanted to dedicate this to Madison Bumgarner." And I said, "Shut up." I said, "You shut up, Joe." And he looked out and smiled, and the people, because we had him on the other day, and so we joked about that. And so we were near the front, and sort of he smiled, and I smiled back, and the people around us looked at me like, "You are a bleeping AH," and I was like, "No, it's a friendly, joking thing. Like, no, I swear." And Bethany was like, "They think that you're like the worst person here because you just yelled and told Joe Buck to shut up when he dedicated it to Madison Bumgarner." And then at the end, he gets done with the song, and he's like, "I love you, Royals. I love you, Chiefs. I love you, Royals. I love you guys. I promise. I swear. I love you." And then he
But
walked
I
off the
do
stage.
hate the Cowboys. I do. I do hate them.
And then he came down, and I'm like, "That was all fun and good, right?" He's like, "Oh man, that was great," And I'm like, "Thank you." I was like, "Say it louder for the people around us, please, Joe. That'd be great." All right, so let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll talk with Cliff Illig. We'll get into some real stuff. All right, World Cup coming to town. The latest was Sporting KC, the stadium stuff going on with the Chiefs and the Royals, Star Bonds, how it worked for Sporting, and how that would work for the Royals or the Chiefs. Kerry Zavagnin, what's going on with Sporting and his job so far. So a lot of actual sports and discussion to get into with Cliff Illig. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone coming up next.
The show with you by listening live on 810whb.com, in the 810 mobile app, or by subscribing to The Zone wherever you get your podcasts.
Cliff is live. He's here. So how much is in this? But we don't need to take anything out. I'm just to give him a heads up. He's just chilling.
We got
All right, beautiful, cool. That'll be right at 9:30. Oh man. Fucking son. Okay, cool. There we go.
Partner like Granger, who does the same. Granger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard drives.
Actually, you know what?
plus
Let me pull
fast,
this way.
dependable
That's
delivery,
easy enough.
so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Each season, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City and Sporting KC team up to recognize Blue KC Sporting
Turn your mic
Samaritans,
on there.
a program that highlights students and teachers
think it's
who
on
make the
3,
Kansas City community a better place to live, work,
There we
and
go.
play. Please nominate these difference makers by going online to
10 seconds.
All right.
/.
Cliff, can you hear all right?
Sporting Samaritans. That's bluekc.com
There we go.
/ nominate Sporting Samaritans. Look out.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 at WHB. Jason Anderson with you, hanging out here in Lake Tahoe, American Century Championships, and our coverage. It's presented by the Bobside Auto Group, Zero Res Window Nation, and GAN Asphalt and Concrete. As we continue rolling on this Friday, very pleased to be joined by Cliff Illig, joining us here in the zone on this Friday. Cliff, how are you, sir?
I am doing great. It's Tahoe.
Yeah,
It's July.
It's beautiful. I believe it is a balmy 66 degrees right now,
And
although the sun is pretty hot right now.
the golf guys are getting ready and looking forward to a really good day.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you get out much? Try to get out much and play?
Not anymore. I had a
Yeah.
little back issue, and so I used to come out here. We've been coming out since I think 2008. So
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Always on the
it's-
calendar, right?
Yeah, I'm on the board of the Stars Institute.
Yeah.
So I've been involved really since early on.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic event. The guys are great. You listen to them talk about the event on their
Yes.
calendars, and it's the one thing they build their years around. And American Century does a great job. The team that for American Century that produces all of this is just really, really sharp.
Yeah.
And so it's just a well done deal.
Yeah, Cliff Illig is our guest, and a year from now we'll be enjoying World Cup matches across the country and North America, and certainly right here in our backyard in Kansas City. What's the latest with that, and where we're at, and on track to being ready to go there?
Let's see. Today's what, the 11th?
11th, yeah.
Okay, so it's a year from today that we will host the quarterfinal match.
Wow.
In Kansas City. So our year has really gotten kicked off, and we've spent a lot of time. This has been going on for the last 10 years. Our preparation for all this with the bid and everything else. I think we have consistently kind of punched above our weight class on up against the other cities. There's 16 cities total, 11 here in the U.S. That will end up hosting FIFA's World Cup matches, and I think all of them but us are top 13 or 14 MSA's size of the cities.
Yeah.
We're 31st or something. So, and I think we've surprised a lot of people in soccer, in media with what we've been able to put together. And as we roll through this, Pam Kramer, who runs our World Cup effort here in town, has put together a great team. That team seems to be ahead of actually most of the other cities in terms of some of the things we're getting done. I think partly that's because we're just being smaller. It's a little easier to brute force it, but she's got probably close to 800, 1,000 people involved in one form or another. Got a great full-time staff. Got a great board, great executive committee. It's just a kind of an all hands on deck thing, and I think everybody has put their shoulder to it. I think everybody is a little overwhelmed with just the size of it.
Yes,
how big the World Cup effort is, and what it's going to take to be really good at it. But I'm very optimistic that we'll be ready, and it'll be safe, it'll be secure, and I think we'll put on a great show for Kansas City around the world.
I was very confident when the bids were coming in to host the World Cup and be a host city because of what I know and about Kansas City and think about Kansas City and what it can offer. Maybe it was viewed as foolish across the country that Kansas City would get to host these World Cup games. But one thing that I think has been a theme at least the last 20, 25 years, I found out, John Sherman talked about it when he took over the Royals and said, people can view Kansas City however they want, but we punch above our weight. And, Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, when he took over coming to Kansas City for the Big 12 tournament, was like, yeah, it's fine here, but we're going to take it somewhere else. And then he gets here, and it's Big 12 tournament's here for a while because he sees what's going on in Kansas City and the World Cup. Do you find it in your experience that the way we're viewed outside versus when people actually come here and see it firsthand, and the respect and what their reactions are to how serious of a city we are, and then getting the World Cup bid?
Well, you say it well, too, because it's not just about sports. I think Kansas City, in almost every dimension, surprises people when they get close to it. I spend quite a bit of time on our economic development priorities as a region, and we were fortunate enough to attract the very large Panasonic Energy EV battery plant to DeSoto. We've recently announced that Fiserv, the big fintech company, is going to be putting in 2,000 jobs out at the Hesperia campus. And those companies, they can go any place.
Yeah.
And when they come here, their initial reaction may be, well, it just seems a little small, maybe. But once they get to understand it, and once they get to see what the tools we have and what we play with, I mean, the biggest asset we've got as a city is the lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's easy to get around. Everybody enjoys it. I mean, I ran Cerner for a number of years, and we must have brought in thousands of people from elsewhere to join us at Cerner. And once they got here, we didn't have any trouble, at getting them to stick. And frankly, even as Cerner has shifted and changed some, almost all of those people are still in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Okay. They did not want to go back to wherever they came from. So that's a big part of who we are. And I think we do a good job of projecting that. I think the World Cup is going to give us the opportunity to project that to billions around the world, because that's how many people will be watching the broadcast from here.
Cliff Illig is our guest. I've talked about when it comes to stadiums and financing publicly from the government and taxpayer money and those things, about having a professional sports team in town. And there are plenty of studies out there that say it's an economic loser by having those things happen. But what I don't think is given enough maybe weight to is attracting and keeping talent in the city. And when people hear talent, they might think sports. But what I view it in talent is, you talk about Cerner, you have people from all over the country that come to Kansas City. And if it's Royals, Chiefs, if it's the other development, T-Mobile, concerts, things like that they can go to and enjoy here in the city, as opposed to you're at a city that doesn't have those things. Okay, I'm fresh out of college. I'll spend a couple of years here, and then I'm going to somewhere where I want to spend my 20s and maybe early 30s. And I don't think that's given enough weight of what the sports franchises can do for a city in keeping and retaining talent to grow the business part of it.
Clearly. And I mean, it goes back to when we were in 2006, when Lamar Hunt made the compelling case to Neil Patterson and myself that he really wanted Kansas City to keep soccer.
Yeah.
And even though the MLS had gotten into the mode of saying one owner, one team, Lamar had three teams. He needed to unload a couple of them. He came to Neil and I and said, look, Kansas City is a major league city in the minds of most of the rest of the country because of our major league franchises, sports franchises. Mm-hmm. And so, it's a big part of, I think, what makes people pay attention to it. And you look at, with all due respect, you look at what's happened in St. Louis, as they've actually lost two NFL franchises over the years. It takes all hands on deck. It takes a bunch of public support. It takes at the state level, and interestingly, because we're on the state line, it's nothing anybody can do by themselves. We've got to work together on things, and I think that comes across to people that are considering what Kansas City might do for their interests.
Personally, I've told the story before, and people listening to the show know it. I lived 10 years in Louisville, and seeing it up close and personal of what happens with a city that doesn't have a pro sports team, that they had a larger population than Indianapolis and Nashville. Back in the 70s and 80s, Indianapolis got the Colts, they got the Pacers. Nashville, they get the Titans. They, Grand Ole Opry and what Nashville has done with the tourism community and things like that. But they had opportunities for NBA franchises in Louisville, and one way or another, they didn't do enough to land that franchise. Some were working against it because they just wanted to stay smaller, and there are companies leaving that city. Unfortunately, I love the city. It's great. I live there. My wife's from there, in-laws and everything. I love the city, and it's tough to see that happening where businesses are leaving because they aren't attracting enough people to stay there in that city. And so seeing that firsthand gives me a greater appreciation for when we talk about what's going on with Children's Mercy, what's going on with Arrowhead or Kaufman, or CPKC, whatever it might be, to continue to have professional teams in town.
It's all part of a grander formula, and I think that if we're going to grow our region, we have to grow business.
Yeah.
We've got to grow what I call enterprises, which are businesses that generate more than 70% of their revenue from someplace other than our region. Okay, we need more of those. Cerner was a good example of that. Garmin, other big Kansas City companies that have a worldwide footprint. We need more of them. We're not a headquarters city by reputation. So, and we've got to solve a lot of issues to do that. One of the biggest one is talent. I mean, I'm talking about sports talent now. I'm talking about professional and commercial and people that can work in a high technology plant environment and those sorts of things, and attracting those people and doing across a very diverse culture and very diverse sets of talent pools. Sports works very well as a catalyst for all of that.
Cliff Illig is our guest. We're out here at the American Century Championship. What do you think the impact will be it's just an estimation, hypothetical, guessing from a year from now, but what do you think the impact will be for Kansas City landing the World Cup and then when it actually comes to fruition and we watch these games here?
I
know that's a very broad.
And we've thought a lot about it, and it's just there's so many potential dimensions of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there will be, when we're hosting games, whoever those games end up being, we will have heads of state from all over the world flying in on private aircraft into our downtown airport and getting an impression of what Kansas City is all about. We'll have 600,000 visitors. Half to 2/3 of those are going to be from someplace else coming here. They're going to see our new airport. They're going to see the lifestyle. They're hopefully going to see a very diverse social and culinary and professional culture, and hopefully that will end up making a statement to businesses and enterprises from elsewhere that are looking to put what they do someplace very effective.
Cliff Illig is our guest, and the World Cup committee and being one of the co-chairs. What's the dynamic like with Kansas and Missouri in that the World Cup is coming to the Kansas City Metro, but there'll be some things in Kansas, there'll be some things in Missouri, there'll be, teams that may be stationed here or a country station there. What's that dynamic like? Is there a push and a pull and a one way or another of like, can we get some over here? Can we get more over here?
Oh, I think there's always going to be a little of that, Jason. Yeah. I think that clearly Kansas City, Missouri stepped up, and they were the guarantor of the agreements with FIFA. This is FIFA's show.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're all working to put on a really great show for FIFA. But it'll be the largest sporting event, not just in Kansas City, but in the North America's history. Yeah. And being able to put all that together took both states. Fortunately, we have two state governments, two governors that have been, whether they're governed early on or not, have all put their shoulders to it, have been incredibly supportive of what was necessary, both economically as well as all the other things that go into it. We have a very supportive federal legislative delegation with the senators and Congress people that from our region that have been instrumental in helping get some of the economic support that's necessary for security and those sorts of things to help our region out. So I think I would characterize it as much more cooperative and collegial than competitive.
Yeah.
And I think as we look back over the past, there's been a lot of things you can point out that were competitive. But yeah, sure, everybody's putting investments in it. Everybody wants to see a return on those investments, so they're going to squeak uh, about what's next for them.
Right.
And I think one of the things, we've got dozens of local jurisdictions, whether it's Overland Park, Olathe, Lenexa, Lee Summit, even the various aspects of Kansas City and in the urban area that are all on their own, kind of getting organized to put events together and all that. And that's just really great to see, because the World Cup committee cannot do everything.
Yeah. Cliff Illig is our guest. What's the latest with the American Royal and what needs to happen there as we get closer and closer to this World Cup?
Well, the American Royal is one of the jewels, for our region.
Yeah.
The American Royal really should be the epicenter of food, agriculture, and plant and animal sciences in our region. It's been on a really a quest for the last 10, 12 years to make the move from the West Bottoms in Kansas City, Missouri, out to the northwest of the Speedway. They have, I think, now about 400,000 square feet of what they call barns, but it's actually trade show space. It's air conditioned. And it will support a bunch of things that we can do, and for World Cup type events, like watch parties and that sort of thing. Watch parties in an air conditioned space in July in Kansas City should
not bad.
Should draw pretty well. But I think longer term, the American Royal will have an additional array of arenas and those sorts of things. They're planning to increase significantly the number of events they handle across a year, and a bunch of those will, in addition to the ag-related ones and the equestrian-related ones, will be there'll be a lot of other things that they can do out there. So I think it's going to. I think at 400,000 square feet, it's probably the largest trade show or convention space that we have in the region. And so we'll start using it that way, I think. And so, there's still some work to do to kind of complete the resourcing and the funding to finish the project. But, generally it's gone well. We've got all the right people in the community focused on it. And I think here over the next couple of years, we'll get it wrapped up and we'll show off a really, really special area.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Just another addition, to what and to revitalize the American Royal, because when I grew up, that's where we went. When the American Royal was there, and it's different now, but it can be great, like it was there when it was just sort of all encompassing. That sort of culture there. You knew when you were there that's where you were. That's what you were in. That's what it was about.
Well, American Royal's got a very, very deep and dedicated board that's always been in support of it. There's been significant community philanthropic interests that have consistently been supportive of it. So a lot of the pieces are in place, but we'd like to see the American Royal end up being that epicenter where around it we have other agriculture and livestock and those kinds of things. Organizations end up headquartering close to it, end up using it as a place not only to do rodeos and horse shows and livestock shows and that sort of thing, but also to convene significant international agriculture related events. Being in the middle of the country and having more tillable acres than almost all the rest of the states in the country, where else would we want to see the epicenter of agriculture be other than Kansas?
Cliff Illig is our guest as we're hanging out here at the American Century. I almost said the American Royal, the American Century a lot of American Century Championship here in Lake Tahoe. The stadium issue was going on with the Royals and the Chiefs, and not to ask where they're going to be, but I'm curious from your standpoint. The Chiefs and the Royals have already been on the ballot once, and it came back in the result that they didn't want. The Chiefs have talked about that. If they go and choose Missouri, then it would be on the ballot probably in April. Star bonds are right there. You've been down this path before. You know what it was like to be on a ballot and come up with the result that you didn't get. What's the task maybe in front of both of these teams, and how big the next few months will be in figuring out the next 40 years?
Well, I spent time with both ownership groups, and they clearly this has been a big challenge for them. And the thing that seems to hold it all together is the very dramatic, significant commitment that they have to making sure that Kansas City retains its professional sports assets. I know that Kansas has got a little different tool belt than Missouri has for providing incentive related economic support for it. And I spent enough time around the legislative leadership and the administration in Kansas to know they're very serious about what's going on. And I don't really read it as a competitive thing. We need to stick it to Missouri and move this stuff to Kansas. No, I think it's really believing that Kansas has got value to add to all of this. And again, it's easy to get around in Kansas City. And I think we've all been used to the Truman Sports Complex and its proximity and how easy it is to get along. But if they end up separating the two and end up being different places, I think we can really, really take advantage of that and make both sports more significant in terms of the way they attract fans to our region.
Do you think so you're very familiar with the Star Bonds, as we saw that with the area there and that being incredibly successful, maybe laborious at the time and concerning for some at the time, but it's been a success. If the Chiefs were to go Star Bonds route or Royals go Star Bonds route, let's go Chiefs, for instance, and maybe $3 billion worth of Star Bonds. Is there enough there to cover 70%, 2.1 billion of Star Bonds to get to that number?
There's a lot of spreadsheets that are necessary to support that. Yeah. But again, our Star Bond deal, for sporting the stadium at the Legends there in Wyandotte County was a much smaller deal, but it was a very good example of what it takes for a private public partnership to kind of roll up their sleeves and figure out what's got to get done. And then certainly to the extent that the startup bonds depend on new state tax revenues, sales tax revenues, and that sort of thing, all the numbers need to work. Yeah. And nobody wants to see taxpayers from Western Kansas having to bear the burden of ill-advised decisions that may have been made to attract something. Yeah. But I think for the most part, again, it goes back to, are these things important to our to the economic health of our region? Mm-hmm. I don't think it's that hard to justify. Now, whether we can get to $3 billion worth of justification, I'll leave that to the guys that are running the spreadsheets. It's significant. It's important, and I'm very, very pleased and impressed with the way the Hunts and John and his group are approaching on a very deliberate and careful basis, and trying to stay out of the politics of it. I think they'll come up with the right answer.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting next few months as to what we have to see what may take place in Missouri or Kansas and what the decisions will be, because these are massive decisions that we're going to be seeing for the next 20, 30, 40 years here in Kansas City. So.
Well, and I think in Kansas City is really the center place for sports architecture in the world. Yeah. Anybody going to build an arena or a stadium anywhere in the world probably is going to make a trip to Kansas City at some point and visit with one or several of our great architectural firms. So, clearly, and all that was sourced, frankly, with the original Truman Sports Complex design and the consortia that was put together to do that. Many of the sports architecture firms in the world now will trace their beginnings back to that project. And so I think, I think we all look at Royal Stadium, we look at the Arrowhead, and even today, they're a little worn. Okay, but even today, they still are top ranked in their sports for the way they accommodate the sport and the fans and the fan experience in those sports. So I am very sure that whatever we do, we'll take that to the next level.
Yeah, and one of the gyms is also your stadium as well there with the sport.
Well, thank you.
It's been a lot of fun seeing that and the growth and being part of what this city is as a sports city. Kind of got the championship thing rolling. Well, I mean, that broke the seal. So That's what happened.
I'd like to take full credit. For
I
all
think you
that.
should. You know what, Chiefs, Royals, you're welcome.
Yeah,
you
we
know?
need to get back to that.
I agree. Yeah. How do you think Kerry's doing?
Kerry's doing well. Kerry's been actually Peter is with us for many years.
Yeah.
Kerry's actually been with us a little longer than Peter had.
Wow.
So I was talking to Taylor Twellman out here at the tournament last night, and he and Kerry used to play on the national team together and used to compete in MLS together back in the day. And even then, Taylor will cite how thoughtful Kerry was and how intense he was about his job. And Kerry and Peter were a great team for a number of years. And Kerry, I think, if anybody knows the strengths of what Peter had put together, which was quite important and significant for all of us, Kerry has that. But he was doing his own thinking at the same time. So he's brought some of that new thinking into play. He's done a nice job. I think, what is it, probably 15 games that he's been head coach for. He's probably averaged 1.5 points per game. On that, I think we had 1 point in the first 6 games. So he's turned that around, and we like the way he's handling himself. We like the way even into Peter's credit, we put a bunch of new players on the team at the first of the year, and it does take a little time for that to all gel. And I think Kerry now is kind of reaping the benefits of that. And Decky is probably 4th or 5th in the league in terms of goals scored. Manu is doing a great job with assists. Goalkeeping is top of the league. I think John's got more saves than any other goalkeeper in the league. So we've got pieces, and it's starting to work together, and it's a lot of fun. I think it's a very resilient bunch. I think there's a lot of energy and spirit in the way they approach every day. I know training is a very competitive environment now, and if you score goals in training, you're going to get a chance to see the field during a game. So it's been fun to watch, and we've got a process that we're going through, and kind of reevaluating the entire landscape of the way we manage the technical side of sporting. And I think that my son Michael runs that whole effort and is doing a great job and has put together a good team, to look at that. But frankly, Kerry doing well makes it a lot easier.
No doubt. Cliff Illig is our guest. Cliff, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I could spend another hour with you, but I know you got stuff to do. And ironically, Taylor Twellman's right behind you. So what are the odds of there's one guy on the driving range and it's Taylor Twellman? So
well, he hits a lot of balls and he hits them well. So
no Cliff, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Jason, this has been fun. Thanks for doing it.
Absolutely. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling. I believe Trey Wingo is going to join us next.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I don't think you start talking to Taylor Twellman and he walks right by. I'm like, not to that. Literally, the only guy on the right.
Appreciate that. What about Cliff?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Sorry about that. As he was talking. Oh,
thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
As Kyle, make sure that mic's off.
Go
there.
ahead. You're good.
I was going to say no. I was going to say as I was talking, and I had some notes and things that I wanted to talk about, and as we would get to one, Chad would write a note and hand it to me, and I'm like, it's like, I'll bring this. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get. But so I'd like break, and it's like, no, make sure you bring this. I'm like, okay, like I wasn't gonna talk about the American Royal, but he was like, you have to like wrote it down, put American Royal, like exclamation point. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck the deal is here, but sure, whatever. So that's fine. Yeah, so that's what was going on back here, and I'm like, I would love to break. I need to break. And Chad's like, oh, do this. God damn it. So yeah, he signs the checks. Yeah, that works. Cool. Beautiful.
We'll go straight into Wingo.
Great. We'll go straight into Wingo, and then I'll adjust with Jonathan Thomas, and because we don't have to spend 20 minutes with him. We're not going over stadiums and stuff. It's just how cool is American Century, you know? So, all right, cool. Thank you, sir.
Like the new Buick Encore GX with up to $6,000 off MSRP. Find yours at robertbrogdon.com.
Get ready, Jayhawk fans. Football season is coming. The brand new renovated David Booth, Kansas Memorial Stadium is the place to be. Don't miss a minute of the action as KU football charges into a new stadium at a new season with big-time matchups and electric game day energy. Season tickets are on sale today. Great seats, great value, and the best way to rep the crimson and blue all season long. Secure your spot today at KUathletics.com. That's KUathletics.com.
Hey, Kansas City, this is Stephen St. John from our friends at Kansas City Credit Union. And right now at Kansas City Credit Union, make no payments for 90 days for either an auto purchase or refinance loan. The refinance must be a loan from another financial institution. Get the money you need and the peace of mind you've been looking for. Minimum 550 credit score required to qualify. Limited time offer, so check it out now. Visit kansascitycreditunion.com/810sports for more information.
If you work or reside in Jackson, Cass, or Clay County, Missouri, you are eligible for membership.
Was your home hit by hail this week while you were at work? You can find out online at jrstormcheck.com. Just plug in your address and JR will pull a multi-year storm report, including this week. Just visit jrstormcheck.com. That's jrstormcheck.com.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
Call 800-838-8614. 800-838-8614. That's 800-838-8614.
Paid for by Airtime Media.
Here, and you can tune in to all Sporting KC coverage exclusively on Sports Radio 810 WHB. You can catch all of the live broadcasts, interviews, and more right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Brought to you by Greenlight Dispensary. Make sure to check out greenlightdispensary.com for all premium cannabis products. The best cannabis deals are always at greenlightdispensary.com. Go Sporting!
At Cindio Outsourcing, service isn't just what we do, it's who we are. Cindio Outsourcing provides outsourced HR solutions to help businesses handle payroll, employee benefits, compliance, and more, all in one place. From day one, our team is by your side. You're not just a client, you're a partner, and we treat your business like it's our own. Visit CindioHRO.com. That's SYNDEOHRO.com. And discover the difference of having a premier HR partner. Chiefs fans, summer's heating up, and so is your takeout game with Rye to Go. Whether you're headed to a preseason game or hosting a backyard bash, grab fan favorites like our famous fried chicken, pulled pork sandwiches, home-style sides, sweet cinnamon rolls, and full-sized pies. It's the ultimate preseason spread. Easy to order, even easier to devour. Call us or order online, then swing by the plaza or Leawood to pick up. Make your summer celebration a touchdown with Rye. Check us out at RyeKC.com.
This is Justin Ruby with IP Pathways. Business owners, is IT slowing you down? Total Tech Plus from IP Pathways is here to help. You get top-notch IT expertise, cutting-edge security, and 24/7 support, all without the cost of an in-house team. Total Tech Plus includes firewalls, cloud services, Office 365, and more, bundled into one seamless solution. Our standardized systems make onboarding a breeze. Simplify your operations with IP Pathways, Total Tech Plus. IT made easy. Visit IPPathways.com.
It's Schlotsky's time, everyone. Grab and take a friend. Run through drive-through or make an order online. Schlotsky's does it all, including catering. Schlotsky's has a great selection and wide variety of sandwiches, pizzas, flatbreads, calzones, soups, and salads. And Schlotsky's has Cinnabon cinnamon rolls, my personal favorite. How about all-day buy one, get one pizza Wednesdays? Great food, great dinner, and weekend specials, and great rewards. Come by Schlotsky today and tell him SSJ sent you.
Make sure to check out the Sports Radio 810 WHB mobile app for all our great content, live streams, social media, and all our podcast clips all in one place. Your one-stop shop for all things 810. Whether you're in the car, at home, or at your kid's soccer game, you'll never miss the action. So download the 810 app today. Brought to you by Trailside RV. Get into Trailside RV to buy the RV of your dreams. Visit them today off I-70 in Grain Valley or online at trailsiderv.com.
Are you struggling with osteoporosis of the knee? If you're between 50 and 80 and have been diagnosed with OA of the knee confirmed by X-ray, you may qualify for a clinical research study at AMR Kansas City. Other study criteria must be met to participate. Receive all study-related care and the investigational treatment or placebo at no cost. Compensation for study-related time and travel is available up to $950. Call AMR today at 816-643-4153 or visit amrkansascity.com to learn more.
This Saturday, Sporting KC faces the Seattle Sounders at Children's Mercy Park for Retro Night. We're celebrating our 2000 MLS Cup championship team with 2000s era music and special appearances from former players. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind game day experience. Get your tickets now at sportingkc.com.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Connolly Plumbing. Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. If you like plumbers who show up, we do. Schedule today at callconnolly.com. The Royals host the Mets this afternoon at 7:10. Kodai Senga on the mound for New York. He is 7-3 with a 1.47 ERA. The Royals sent Michael Wacha to the bump, who was 4-9 with a 3.83 ERA. The Royals wrap up this three-game series before their All-Star break. They currently are 46-48, 3.5 games back of the final wild card spot, which is occupied by the Boston Red Sox. In the NBA, OKC is trying to keep their core together. Jalen Williams as well as Chet Holmgren both agreed to rookie max extensions. This is Sports Center.
I'm January 14th at WHB. Jason Anderson with you as we continue to hang out in Lake Tahoe, the American Century Championship going on. And beautiful, beautiful Lake Tahoe. I think, Trey Wingo joins us. Trey, are you contractually obligated to say beautiful Lake Tahoe? Can you just say Lake Tahoe?
You can just say Lake Tahoe,
Okay.
but you wouldn't be giving an accurate description.
Good point.
So
Good.
this is about as good as it gets anywhere. And I'm a fervent believer of when you're here, you have to get in the lake.
Okay.
So I've been in swimming in the lake the last 2 days.
Good for you.
It's awesome.
We have a rule, and I don't know that it will apply to Bethany here and Gabe. The rule has always been that if it is your first trip, you must get in the lake at least once.
Well, I would
This is
agree with that.
This is 15 for me. So I've been in the lake a number of times, but trip number 1 for Bethany and Gabe.
It's Bethany and Gabe's excellent adventure in the lake. That's what has to happen.
Must
That
happen.
is a guarantee.
You are absolutely right. What's going on with you? How's life for Trey Wingo?
Well, things are very good. I just out here doing some stuff with the St. Andre golf account on Instagram, the best golf creator account there is. Followed those guys for a couple of years, so we're doing some collaborations with them. Leaving here, headed back home, and going to do British Open coverage of the Open Championship with NBC. Did the U.S. Open with them as well, and then I've got a couple of things lined up in the fall that aren't completely finalized yet, but they will be shortly, and I'm looking forward to that as well.
And you're ready to announce that right now. They're not final, but you're ready. That's what you came on for, is to break the news. Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome. To be determined, yes.
Are you, I know it's so much football with Trey Wingo football. Are you enjoying the golf part of it? Is that something that's been a part of your life?
Yeah, golf has really sort of taken over my life over the last 10 to 15 years. Like, I loved almost everything I did at ESPN, but covering the U.S. Open and the Open Championship for 9 straight summers was pretty special. That was a lot of fun.
We get in this argument or conversation, not really an argument, discussion about the U.S. Open that, we saw what happened this year and how tough it is. And I find myself leaning more towards, I can go out with buddies and watch guys do that. Like, I appreciate so much watching guys just work around the golf course and put it next to the pin and do that. Because I don't have an understanding of really just how difficult that course is.
Yeah.
I have an understanding of how great these guys are. Do you enjoy it when it's like that difficult?
Yes.
Okay. So you're on the opposite side of that.
1,000%.
Yeah, right.
I want to see
You're
those
the majority,
guys
by the way.
struggle. Yeah. I want to see those guys struggle and feel the way we do on the court. Look, the USGA has the standard line, right? We're not trying to embarrass the best golfers in the world. We're trying to identify them. And there was a tipping point in 2004 at the U.S. Open at Shinnecock. Retief Goosen won his second, holding off Phil Mickelson in the final round, where the grass on the greens were so severe on one hole they had to water the green between groups. That was when they realized, okay, we took this thing too far. But this year at Oakmont, it wasn't even the USGA. The folks at Oakmont, the membership there, have this thing about making this the hardest golf course in the world. I played it a few years ago. It is the hardest golf course I've ever played. And they want it to be the hardest golf course they've ever played. Like Gil Hance, the great golf designer, came in and redid it, and the membership told him, do not make this easier. And it played, I think, a few strokes higher to par than they did the last time the U.S. Open was there in 2016 when Dustin Johnson won it. So I'm all in for this one thing.
Right.
That one time, make them feel like we do.
I get it. I totally understand
And then
that
what?
part.
J.J. Spawn makes, what, a 40-footer?
Yes.
A 50-footer to win it? So
Right.
good for him.
Doesn't feel like we do. You know,
I think I've had one of those.
in your life. At Oakmont, congratulations.
Yeah, definitely not at Oakmont.
Congrats
for sure.
on that. Trey Wingo is our guest. So this is interesting because we've talked to this offseason with the Chiefs losing the Super Bowl.
Right.
And there are kids. My niece celebrated her 1-year-old birthday, and she has no idea what it's like to see the Chiefs win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
And
she's
so
one of the few.
It's a rough life for her. And so everybody else is spoiled, right?
Yeah.
But it sort of feels like the Chiefs get knocked down by the Eagles, and there's a whole lot of, okay, well, now it's time for everybody else to take the reins and
Yeah,
take
well,
the
good luck with
mantle.
that. Let me just say that. Good luck
You
with
get that same sense that's sort of how the conversation has been this offseason?
Look, it's the same thing with the Patriots, right? People were tired of them winning all the time, and they came up with all these reasons and excuses. And the bottom line was they were just better. And at the end of the day, the Kansas City Chiefs are just better than almost everybody else. And this whole ridiculously stupid narrative about the officiating crew helping them was the most obnoxiously dumb thing I've ever heard in my life. I did the research, okay? Over the last 3 seasons, do you know the team that had the most touchdown drives sustained by penalty in the entire NFL? It wasn't Kansas City. It was the Buffalo Bills.
I was going to guess Buffalo.
It was the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Okay? The Chiefs have already done things the Patriots didn't do. The Chiefs have been to 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls. No team has ever done that. And after their loss to the Eagles, which, by the way, they just got run over because the offensive line and the defensive line were just better. Philadelphia was just better. People are like, well, they'll never be as good as the Patriots dynasty. Well, just pump the brakes here for a minute. You know what Tom Brady's record was in his first 5 Super Bowls?
3-2.
3-2. Okay. You know how many seasons it took Tom Brady and the Patriots to get to 5 Super Bowls?
13?
11.
11.
11.
11 was going to be my first guess.
11. Patrick Mahomes did it in 7 seasons as a starter. I'm not taking away. 2017 doesn't matter because he didn't play. All right. So in 7 seasons as a starter, that team's been to 5 Super Bowls and won 3 of them. So, and you're telling me that there's no chance they can match what the Patriots have done? Now, the bigger issue is how long Andy Reid's going to stick around. And, you know, obviously the best part about Tom's career was he had an unbelievable second act.
Yes.
And played till he was in his mid-40s. I firmly believe that that's what Patrick wants to do. The question is, how much longer will Andy be around? And I kept looking for them to take a step back. They said that Tyreek Hill left.
Yeah.
They went on to win back-to-back Super Bowls. So go ahead, count them out at your own peril. As long as they're healthy, this is the best receiving core he's ever had.
Agreed.
Ever had. With Rashee Rice coming back. Worthy was on the same trajectory last year as Rice. Now Hollywood Brown is back. Everybody bashed Kelsey last year. Still had 90-something catches. Now, he didn't have a ton of touchdowns. But, you know, in one game, in the Bengals game, they decided to throw a touchdown to Wanye Morris when Kelsey was wide open. Like, that happened, you know. I think Kelsey's going to be fine. They definitely have to be better on the offensive line. And this kid out of Ohio State has got to be good. Moore has got to be good.
Simmons, yes. But more from San Francisco than they
more
signed originally. Yeah.
They have to, these guys have to be good because they can't have, you know, obviously the move from Tooney to guard guard to left tackle was a desperation move, but it just shows you what a great player Joe Tooney.
Right. Yeah.
I was kind of surprised they moved on for him. I understood why they did it because they wanted to make sure that they had Trey signed. But they still have really good parts of that offensive line, and I just think if you're going to count them out, you're not looking realistically at the situation.
And I think the Trey Wing was our guest, and I think you can make a case that even with Joe Tooney being gone, because as we look at specifically in the Super Bowl, Joe Tooney playing left tackle and Caliendo playing left guard, I think they are better at left guard and left tackle in Week 1 than they were in the Super Bowl. Because Jalen Moore or Josh Simmons had better be a better left tackle than left guard undersized Tooney.
Right. Like Tooney did an unbelievable job. Like people don't know how hard that was. What he did.
I loved hearing from offensive linemen that are like, this is what he's doing. Like you hear from the guys that have done that.
Tackle to guard. They don't go from guard to tackle.
Right.
Yeah. Tooney's an unbelievable player.
Yes,
unbelievable player.
He is, and I'll miss him in Kansas City. Certainly, the press conferences left a lot to be desired. We called him Joe Bot Tooney, because he was definitely from the Belichick world,
the Patriot
way of answering questions, which was great. But they drafted Kingsley in the second round last year to play left tackle. They moved him now to left guard. He should be better than what Caliendo was. So in theory, on paper, you would hope that they are better at left guard and left tackle than they were in the Super Bowl. A lot depends on health. But the point that you were talking about earlier that I want to address is second act. And I wonder how close we're coming up to the second or third act. Because when they traded Tyreek Hill, I called it version 2 of the Patrick Mahomes era. Not necessarily second act, but version 2, because now it's no Tyreek. They were investing in younger players. He was making a lot of money. They had to figure that out. I wonder what the second act will be when Kelsey's gone. Chris Jones is not as dominant as he was a couple of years ago. When, the big three of Mahomes, Kelsey, and Chris Jones are the big one, and fill in names here with somebody else.
Well, that's where you have to trust a guy like Brett Veach. And I think Brett Veach has proved himself to be trustworthy. Look, that 20, by the way, I just was watching Justin Reed play. Yeah, Reed was a big part of that secondary for a lot of years, but, he was a perfect replacement for Tyrann Mathieu. So they've done this before. That 2022 draft has really kept them in it because you've got all those players for 4 or 5 years, depending on where you drafted them, on a rookie deal. When you get Karlaftis, Williams, Watson, Pacheco, Leo Chenal, all those guys in one draft, that's how you sustain dynasties. Obviously, they're going to have a couple more drafts like that to keep it going. But I know that there are 2 GMs every year that absolutely kill the draft, and that's Howie Roseman and Brett Veach. And I'm going to trust Brett Veach to find the right solutions because he's proven that to be the case. And one Super Bowl loss does not take that away from him, in my opinion.
Yeah, and typically after a Super Bowl loss, Brett Veach has really invested heavily in whatever the issue was.
Correct.
In that Super Bowl loss, and he's done that.
But they revamped the offensive line after the Super Bowl 55 loss.
Yeah, that's when they got Creed and Trey, and they traded for Orlando Brown. They Tooney. They tried to get Trent Williams. They spent an offseason trying to get Joe Tooney and Trent Williams. And they were close to getting Trent Williams.
But there's a couple of names out there that are still unsigned that I would not be surprised if by the last week in August or first week in September, some of them sign up with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's very much like what the Patriots were able to do.
Yeah.
They'll let you go when they think your price is too much, but they'll bring somebody back on pennies on the dollar, and that's how you sustain dynasty.
Yeah, and it's Trey Wingo's our guest. That 2022 draft is so vital because they traded Tyreek Hill and they get these resources. And I know people talk about, the process.
Juju's back too. And
exactly. Yeah.
A limited role, but when you have those other 3 guys, Juju's a fine option.
He was the number 1 wide receiver when they played the Eagles.
Correct.
Just a couple of years ago in the Super Bowl, and now he's the 4th or 5th wide receiver on this team, depending on what Jalen Royals may do. But that 2022 draft, the process in Philadelphia, people say, failure. And I think it was a failure in how they utilized resources. But gathering the resources, I don't hate the strategy.
No, not at all.
Trading Tyreek Hill to gather the resources, I like the strategy. You had, $30 million in a cap hit that you also can use elsewhere, plus those draft picks.
Yeah.
When you get McDuffie and Karlaftis and those guys, it makes the strategy look smart. It also helps that you have the resources, Trey, to trade ahead of the Buffalo Bills to get McDuffie, and they get Kyer Elam.
Why do the Buffalo Bills keep trading? That's how they got Mahomes,
right?
That's how they got McDuffie.
Yeah.
That's how they got Xavier Worthy. Yeah. Like if I'm the Bills and the phone rings and it's a Kansas City area code, hang up. Like, don't do it. What are you doing? Like you are now hurting yourself.
Yeah.
You are now choosing to hurt yourself is what you're doing. If you decide to talk with those guys undrafted, you are just inflicting self-damage.
Yes. Yeah. Trey Wingo is our guest. Patrick Mahomes, is he regressing?
No.
Is it
I thought
weapons?
he played better last year than he's ever played.
Interesting. Why so?
Because there was nothing around him. I mean, like, what other quarterback is going to lose his top 2 wide receivers and his number 1 running back and still lose only one game that they were trying to win in the regular season? And people are like, oh, well, he threw this in. Okay, you're looking at stats. I'm looking at how the game is played. There were no options available to him at times. Some of the interceptions, like there was that San Francisco game where he threw 2 and I think Brock Purdy threw 3. Of those 5 interceptions in that game, only 1 was on the quarterback. All the other ones were on the receivers running the wrong route or a batted ball and all that kind of stuff. So, people look at stats and they don't watch the game. Though I think Patrick's greatest skill set has been his ability to say, okay, what I did in 2018 and 2019 is not available to me now. Mm-hmm. So now I have to find other ways to make the offense function. All that being said, I expect them to be way more explosive this year because what they're doing this year is what they tried to do last year before Hollywood Brown got hurt in the preseason game against the Jags, before Rashee Rice blew out his knee in the win over the Chargers. So I think when you have Worthy, and he's never had 2 young receivers at the peak of their power like Worthy and Rice.
Yeah.
He's never had 2 guys. Like, even with Tyreek, it was Sammy Watkins or Byron Pringle. I mean, or DeMarcus Robinson. Fine players. They weren't Worthy or Rice status receivers. I think as long as the offensive line can be held up a little bit, you're going to see the deep ball this year from the Chiefs.
And I really want that to me is one of the more fascinating aspects of this season, Trey, is the last touchdown to Xavier Worthy that has been really broken down and talked about ad nauseum here in Kansas City since that, because it's one little morsel to go off of, but it's also, looking to a blast from the past. And it's also Mahomes taking that shot. It's 1st and 10. It was a change of possession. It was a turnover on downs from the Eagles. They have the ball at the 50-yard line, 1st and 10. Noah Gray is open for a 5-yard dump off. Nobody's within 10 yards. Hollywood Brown's running a 15-yard dig, and he's open. Xavier Worthy hadn't gotten to the 2 safeties yet, and Mahomes threw it. I'm convinced that, 3 weeks before that, a month before that, he either dumps it off to Noah Gray or he hits Hollywood Brown.
Right.
And I wonder if that sort of triggered something it's 1st and 10. Hollywood's there. Bleep it, Tyreek down there somewhere.
Yeah.
Bleep it, Xavier's down there.
Listen,
I'm going to take that shot, and I hope he does that.
But listen, at that point, the game was obviously out.
True.
So it reminds me a little bit of, there's this great clip of Eddie Lopez, who was Greg Maddox's personal catcher. And they were playing the Astros. And they were winning like 8-0, whatever. And there were 2 men on base, and Jeff Bagwell.
Yeah.
And they throw him away. Then Maddox has him coming inside on him. So he comes inside on him, and Bagwell just hits a rocket over the left field wall for a 3-run homer. And Eddie Lopez was like, why did you do that? He goes, trust me, we're going to see that team again in the playoffs. So they see him again in the playoffs. It's a bases loaded, 2-out situation. And Bagwell comes up. He throws him 3 away, strikes out on 3 pitches, and he turns to Eddie Lopez and said, do you remember? He was looking for that inside pitch. I wasn't going to throw it to him. He was looking for it, and that's why I was able to work him outside. And Eddie was like, oh, my God, how do you remember that? So in a strange way, it's very similar. All right, that game was lost, but what can I build on for next year to give Worthy a little more confidence? That play makes sense to me.
Quick ones for you. I know you got to go. Trey Wingo is our guest. The Steelers, any idea what they're trying to
accomplish? The 2025 Steelers would kill it in 2019.
Oh, they'd be so good.
I mean, like, I have. There's only one reason that you sign Aaron Rodgers to a 1-year deal, and it's you're desperate. Their last playoff win was against the Chiefs before they drafted Patrick Mahomes. That's how long the playoff drought has been. They just re-signed the GM Mark Khan to a 3-year contract extension. They have doubled down on Omar Khan. Mike Tomlin knows that he's in trouble.
Yeah,
they've got to win. There's no part of me that believes the Steelers are in a 1-year championship win. And if they do win it, congratulations. But you bring in Jalen Ramsey at this point, and you give up Minka Fitzpatrick. And for all that DK Metcalf has been promised, the best play of his career is chasing down Buda Baker on would have been a pick six. Like, he hasn't been great. So I think the Steelers have real issues. And I think that, since 1970, there have been 3 Steelers head coaches. That's 6 Pokes since 1970. They do not change coaches lightly. But I think if something doesn't happen dramatically this year, they will change coaches.
Maybe the next Pope comes from Pittsburgh.
Well, the last one's from Philadelphia, right?
Or
it was
Chicago.
Chicago.
Big White Sox fan. White Sox fan.
Someone has to be.
Trey Wingo, our guest. Trey, thank you so much for stopping by. Enjoy Tahoe, and I really appreciate the visit.
You got it, man. And just everybody relax. The Chiefs are going to be fine. They're going to be fine. You've got another 8-9 year window here. You're going to be fine.
Your words to God's ears, which is Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City.
And Andy Reid.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next.
Take the show with you by listening live on 810whb.com, in the 810 mobile app, or by subscribing to The Zone wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Holy cow, you've done it again.
We've done it again, Toby. We won the President's Award again this year. This is the 22nd time we've been awarded this awesome honor from Ford Motor Company.
But what is the President's Award?
The President's Award is the top award Ford Motor Company gives its dealers for excellence in customer satisfaction in both sales and service and their sales penetration numbers. So we are super honored to have received this award for the 22nd.
Jason, you there?
All right.
All right, dude. We got 3 minutes until we're back. And,
Okay.
Luis Estevez is replacing
Nice.
Gronholm on the All-Star team.
Absolutely. You couple that President's Award lineage with our no-hassle Toby Tobin pricing, it does not get any better than that.
What is your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Or lewisburgford.com.
Hey, this is Stephen St. John. When I was having problems with my AC, I called Summit Heating and Cooling. They took care of me fast. If you need help now, visit summithckc.com to schedule today. If you're looking for the top, reach for the Summit. Summit Heating and Cooling.
Tickets for Less has your seats for the Royals and Mets July 11th through the 13th. Friday night, enjoy fireworks and get an Eric Hosmer bobblehead free to the first 20,000 fans. Visit ticketsforless.com and use code 810 to save on your next order today.
Stephen St. John here. Is your lawn ready to be the envy of the neighborhood? Custom Lawn and Landscape makes achieving a green, weed-free lawn easy with their expert 7-step fertilization and weed control program. With over 40 years of experience serving Johnson County, they're excited to now be serving Lawrence and all of Kansas City as well. And here's the best part. Get your first application absolutely free. Call Custom Lawn today or visit customlawn.com to claim your free application and get started. Custom Lawn and Landscape, because beautiful lawns don't happen by accident.
This is Justin Ruby with IP Pathways. Say goodbye to IT stress with Total Tech Plus. Enjoy 24/7 expert support, managed security, and streamlined operations, all bundled for your convenience. IP Pathways, IT simplified. IPpathways.com.
It's James from the Bullpen Bar and Grill at 135th and Neiman. Come in and enjoy cold beer, great cocktails.
Okay,
one of our delicious
Jonathan's
Chicago
here, so
hot
we
dogs.
are good
While
to
you
go
got
when
your
we come
boys
back,
in
so no delay there.
Perfect. 1 minute.
Awesome.
He's
Up in 1 minute.
representing KC in the All-Star game. See you there.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
DQ presents How to Make Your Summer Take Flight. Just head into DQ for a new Superman cake batter cookie dough blizzard treat. Treat your inner hero to an epic mix of sugar cookie dough, sprinkles, and cake batter flavor. Blend it all with legendary DQ soft serve, and it's enough to tempt Superman himself. Fly into DQ for our new Superman cake batter cookie dough blizzard treat before it's gone. And don't miss Superman, only in theaters July 11th. DQ, happy tastes good. Only at participating locations.
I will continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, hanging out here in Lake Tahoe, American Century Championship. Our coverage presented by Bobside Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, and Gann Asphalt and Concrete. Joined now by Jonathan Thomas, who is the chairman, CEO, president of American Century, and here in Lake Tahoe. Jonathan, how are you, sir?
I am fantastic, and I'm absolutely thrilled that you guys are back again this year. It makes me excited that this used to be Radio Row, and now it's 810's Palace. You guys own this place, so thank you for being here.
And thank you for allowing us to own this place.
Yeah.
It has been a great week with the people we have talked to. And the one thing you find out, Jonathan, is everybody that we talk to, this is the week that they set aside on their calendar, and they wait with bated breath for that invite.
Yeah,
it seems.
It is, and it's really tough because, we want to keep the field fresh,
Yeah.
and so we have to turn over in order to get guys like, George Kittle in. That means somebody else has to go. But so there's a lot of drama whether they're going to get back or not. And on average, these guys, they get here about 5 times. That's the average tenure of one of the players here. But we have guys like Jack Wagner and Jim McMahon who've been here for all 36, and Marcus Allen and Joe Theismann are close to that.
Yeah.
But and then talk about the tournament. It's a big week for them. Really funny story last year. Last year was Matthew Tkachuk from the Florida Panthers. First year here. He had the time of his life. He had just won the Stanley Cup and came here. And after the event was over, I'm back at Kansas City in my office, and he's calling me and texting me. And it's like on Wednesday. I'm like, what? I thought maybe he forgot something. I didn't know what was going on. Calls me up and he says, "Hey, JT, is it, I don't want to be presumptuous. I don't want to be pushy, but I just looked up the dates for next year. Is there a more than 50% chance that I'll be invited back?" I said, "Matthew, you were fantastic. I'm going to absolutely have you back." And he said, "Okay, now I got to tell my wife we're moving our wedding." So his wedding was scheduled for this weekend, and he pushed it back a year after being here the first year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So have they already been married, or they're getting married later, or?
It's next week.
Next week.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it was supposed to be tomorrow, and now it's a week from tomorrow.
Couldn't we have hosted that last night?
Yeah, he would have probably been fine with it. I'm not so sure she would have, but yeah, he would have been
Well,
fine.
let's hope that he does not get stood up next week the way that he did last night at the celebrity karaoke.
Yeah, what Jason's talking about is we had Matthew and Alex Caruso from the Oklahoma Thunder get lined up to do celebrity karaoke with We Are the Champions. Matthew got up there, and we kept calling for Caruso. It reminded me of the Bueller movie. Bueller, where are you? Yeah, Caruso. He never showed up. But Matthew, strong performance, went up, did it solo. Another Kansas City native, Rob Regal, jumped in to kind of help him out, but he had a great time.
Yeah, it was really cool. Jonathan Thomas is our guest, and you know what? Last night was maybe the best celebrity karaoke I think we can remember. We were talking about it when we left. Like, that was about as fun as we've ever had, and certainly that and the Kelsey brothers getting up there and doing the duet. You know, we talked earlier this week off the air. It was like, is Jason going to perform? And you said, well, actually, they texted me. They're going to be up there together. We're not letting that out of the letting that be public yet, and nobody's going to know the song. They have texted me that, so they're going to be up there, and it was great watching them.
They killed it. I mean, the energy they bring. I look at both those guys, such authentic, superstars, obviously in their primary sport, but just authentic, genuine, grounded guys. And I couldn't be more proud to have them here. And of course, we over-index towards Kansas City, but having Travis here and being able to tell the story is great. The hat, I saw there's hundreds of thousands of views already of those two guys performing last night. I was a little disappointed they didn't win. Normally Travis wins at least third place, usually first or second, but it's never really based on skill. It's more about his enthusiasm, right? Yeah. He's more of a performer than a singer. I was shocked to see Ray Romano doing the Eminem song,
"Lose Yourself,"
and I think it was the shock of that got him first place.
100%. We're like, okay, what's Ray Romano going to do? And he turns his hat backwards and starts going into it, and this is going to be classic, and it absolutely was. Jonathan Thomas is our guest. Matthew Tkachuk has a couple of Stanley Cups. Travis Kelce has some rings. The trophy for this one is a big deal as well. Like, we've seen they're the guys that can win this thing. They're taking it seriously to get that.
Well, it's funny you bring up the trophy. Yeah, it matters a lot to them. So I've been giving out this trophy. Well, in 2003, I'd been giving out the trophy for 18 consecutive years. And in 2003, 2023, pardon me, Steph Curry won, right? Huge finish, sunk an 18-foot, no-look putt, right? He looked away before it dropped. And, as always, I presented him the trophy, as I'd been doing for the previous 18 years. And then everybody came back to me and said, Steph left with the trophy. I said, well, of course he left. He won the trophy. And they go, JT, we don't give that trophy away. It's only for TV. And I'd been giving it away for 18 years and never knew. And in fact, I was busting people, Romo and a few other guys, because they sometimes broadcast from their house. You'd see their trophy room, and I never saw my trophy behind them. So I found out that after all those years, they were never given a trophy to keep. So I told Steph to keep his. So he has original from 1990. And then we went out, and I felt so bad. I made 5 trophies for the previous winners, and I traveled around the country when I was there for business, and I met with Vinny in Phoenix, and I gave him his trophies. I met with Jack in L.A. I gave his. I gave Marty Fish his trophies, Mark Mulder. So they ultimately did get a trophy, but they just had to wait many years for it.
Well, if Kachuk won, it would just be, secondhand nature to him just to be able to have it for a little bit and then give it back,
Well, Kachuk's, he's got a bit of a mixed reputation when it comes to handling trophies. He was just telling me the trophy, they all get it for a day after you win the Stanley Cup. Last year, he went swimming with it in the ocean and got reprimanded. And then this year, apparently, he dropped it in the locker room after the Stanley Cup win, bent the top of it, and they had to fly in some sort of silversmith to put a special top on to repair it. So ours is crystal, so I don't know. If he wins it, I'm going to have to keep my hand on it so it doesn't break it.
Jonathan Thomas is our guest, the chairman, CEO, president of American Century. And one of the things we've talked about this week, and really every year that we come out here, and one of the reasons why we enjoy being a part of it is because American Century being a great Kansas City company. And there aren't many companies that will take the amount of revenue that you guys generate and then give it back to try to have these gene-related diseases and try to find some sort of a cure for that. And the Stowers Institute has been doing that for a long time, and it's in the billions now that you guys have raised for that.
Yeah, it is. We have I call ourselves a universe of one. Our founder, Jim and Virginia Stowers, were afflicted with cancer in the late 90s. They did something that almost nobody ever. A lot of people give away their money, but it's always after they die, right? They want to make sure they have it while they're alive. They gave it effectively all of their fortune away while they were alive to set up. They took the old Menorah Hospital down by the plaza. They converted into literally a world-class leading biotechnology and science center. And then they gave their ownership of American Century to the Stowers Institute. So to this day, we direct over 40% of our profits each and every year to find cures for cancer and other gene-based diseases. Over the last 25 years, that amounts to more than $2.2 billion. So when you're buying, mutual funds, ETFs, setting up a retirement account, an IRA, or whatever it is at American Century, not only are you investing in your own future financial health, you're also making the world a healthier place in terms of the funding that we direct to the Stowers Institute, which, by the way, employs a little bit over 500 world-class scientists right here in Kansas City.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing what the work that can be done, and who knows how much we have evolved and gotten to a point of finding some of these, or steps closer to finding a cure based on what your company has done in the Stowers Institute.
Yeah, and of course, it's funny with the funding cuts that's been going on throughout the country from the National Institute of Health. The Stowers, which has always been one of the most coveted destinations for world-class scientists, has suddenly become that much more attractive because all these other institutions, their funding is cut. And to do really groundbreaking exploratory work, you need years. And these many organizations around the country, and you hear about Harvard and Princeton and all the more prominent ones, those scientists are panicked. And because they count about 90% of their funding on grants from the government, American Century and Stowers have just the opposite relationship. It's 10, 15% from federal grants, but the rest of their funding comes from American Century, which is only made possible by the support we get from our clients who trust us to handle their money.
It seems like that would create a pretty competitive pool of people that would want to work with the Stowers Institute, therefore creating, even higher level of doctors and scientists and researchers to be able to work with the Stowers Institute.
Yeah, it has been, it's 25 years old roughly. It's always been top, 3, 4 in the world. But the funding model suddenly is making it probably one of the most attractive places for a world-class scientist.
Amazing. Jonathan Thomas is our guest. And how many years did you say American Century?
So the tournament's 36 years old. It was started with Isuzu, kind of a hot dog and potato chip event back then. We took it over 27 years ago and decided this was the perfect platform to tell our story. And, back then we were begging celebrities to come, and there are a few thousand people walking around, and you fast forward now to where we are today, and there's, we'll have 80,000 people here. We'll have 5.5, 6 million people watch it on TV. And the last problem we have is filling the field. We got, we have a waiting list of hundreds of people that would want to be in this tournament. So it's just built upon itself, and I call it the Super Bowl of celebrity golf.
Yeah, Chad sent mine. Am I on the waiting list? Chad Bogert, he said he sent that over to you. That I was.
You are on the list.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Go. As long as I'm on the waiting list, I'm maybe one day I'll get the call or not. But just as long as I'm on the waiting list, I'm excited about that.
You are there. It's just going to take another really major pandemic before you make it to the top.
Okay, well, I guess that's the pro and the con. I guess if that's what it takes for me to get that, what? In fact, I'll go ahead and I'll give up the American Century invite if it means there's no pandemic. Okay.
Yeah,
I'll do that. I'll do that for the world. That's how I feel.
The more I think about it, it is kind of cool to say that you're on the list. So I'll put you on the list so we can say Jason is on the list.
Somebody along the line is going to it's going to get lost in the shuffle. Somebody's going to make a mistake and they're going to call me. And I'm going to make that. I'm going to accept that.
I'm here.
I'm going to be here for sure. I'll keep this week cleared.
We'll put all the Jasons out. Jason Worth, Jason Kelsey, and you.
Well, we're talking to Jason Worth here a little, but we talked to him last night at the Celebrity Karaoke, and my goodness, I didn't realize what a cool guy he was to hang out with. We were talking horses with him. We were talking baseball. We were just talking a lot of different things while people are up there singing and he's just hanging out. And you never know what the interaction is going to be like when you're around some of the people that you've never met before that have had people wanting their attention for most of their adult lives.
It is kind of in our country, and I love it for this, but celebrities are coddled and put up on pedestals from grade school. And yet we really curate this field to make sure no matter how great you are that you're a good person. And we work on that culturally within American Century too. I always end every speech, every memo with the concept of be kind. And the word here the celebrities get the idea of being kind here. A quick funny story about Jason Worth. I went up and said hi to him last night. While I was talking to him, I don't know, 3 or 4 people in the course of 10 minutes came up and welcomed him to the tournament for the first time because he does look, in particular with a hat on, a lot like George Kittle. His first year is out here.
That's right. And the hair in the back.
Yeah, shaved up on the sides, the long hair in the back. So he's been getting confused the whole time. And ultimately, I think he's convinced himself it's a compliment because he said that Kittle's like 15 years younger. So he's cool with it.
Does that? Yeah. Kittle's it seems like he's been the life of the party everywhere he goes. We're actually planning on talking to him here in just a little bit. So walking around, and we saw him last night and a couple of days ago. We told him, George, if you come on the air, it's Kansas City. You do have an opportunity to talk trash to Travis.
Oh, yeah.
On Kansas City radio, and he goes, I'm there. I'm there. I will absolutely do it. I'll be on there with you. Let's figure out a time. I'm coming on in Kansas City.
I have to tell you, this is the first year we invited him. A friend of mine bumped into him down in Nashville, which is where he spends the off season. Said he'd be interested. I texted him. He was instantly back within minutes. And I was trying to give him details about when it starts. He goes, I know all about it. I'm going to be there. Don't worry. So he's been fantastic. And I think you'll probably see him back again next year. And then, of course, being out here by the Bay Area, there's a huge turnout from San Francisco. Yeah. So his following, he had to have, I would guess, yesterday for a Thursday, he probably had 3,000 people following him
Wow,
around.
that was crazy. Yeah, and Juszczyk out here, and secretly hoping the Chiefs would sign him.
Yeah, I know.
Juszczyk, and that didn't happen. He's re-signed in San Francisco. So yeah, it's been really cool to see these guys, the first timers that are out here too, to sort of take it in. And we had Justin Reed on a couple days ago, and he was just like, this is unbelievable. This is amazing. You want to talk about a guy getting into character last night in
Oh
this
my
celebrity
God.
karaoke? I mean, that was phenomenal.
Yeah, he doesn't just show up and sing. He went out and bought that costume.
Yes.
In the store, he's showing me pictures. He cut the sleeves off. He decided they weren't cut enough. He cut them, really all the way into the shoulders. And he showed up strong. It's funny. I invited him last year I probably invited him right before he got traded is what happened. And invited him. He hit the bid immediately. Next thing I know, he's traded. I give him a text like, I don't know, this might not work. You're going to New Orleans. But he has been so thoughtful, so grounded, so kind. Got up there and did what song was that? Shabuzi?
Yeah, Shabuzi. Aiden
Last
Shabuzi.
night?
Yeah.
Solo.
Solo,
A lot
yes.
of those guys won't go solo. And I think everybody who's come in contact with him, which is true for Kansas City. We have a reputation of being a kind and great town, and he reflects us well. So I'm hoping we'll get him back again next year as well.
Yeah, he definitely said, he's like, I got to figure out how to be back here next year.
Yeah.
I got to do what I can to be back here next year. Well, I said, okay, well, I'll talk to Jonathan.
Yeah.
I'm on the waiting list, Justin. So, if you return, that means it's one less slot for me. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, point that out.
Yes, Jonathan Thomas, CEO, president of American Century. How many more years do you guys think you'll have this? I mean, hopefully for the next 50, 60, 70.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like you have a lot of miles in your tank. So I assume you want to.
I've already got it scheduled for next summer too. So you just
Okay.
got to talk to Chad and make sure that I can come out here for the station.
You guys, like I say, you own this. So we got rid of. I'm so excited the advantage we give to Kansas City listeners because they get more insight than even the local groups out here. But we've been doing it 27 years. We have a contract through 2029. So at least 4 more years. But the way this is growing and the momentum it's had, I'm hoping that we'll find a way to work it out with NBC to do another 5 or 6 after that. Yeah.
Cannot wait. Jonathan, thank you so much for stopping by. It's a blast every year. We look forward to it. I know the listeners look forward to it. And I know there's pride in a great Kansas City company that does what American Century does and behind the scenes with the Stowers Institute and just taking it to that next level, that extra step along the way. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And honestly, I'm equally proud to have you guys out here having 810 rep in Kansas City. Chad, the whole group, you guys are amazing.
Well, it is our pleasure to be out here doing this. So Jonathan Thomas, CEO, president of American Century. We will take a timeout. We'll come back, and the aforementioned George Kittle. We'll hang out with him. He said he's got about 5 minutes, so we will spend that 5 minutes with George Kittle and get as much conversation as we can coming up next.
Want to see more of The Zone? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch.
Here's a question. Did you take your storm-damaged car to a body shop that only did bumpers? Smart. So why call just a roofing company after your entire home or business goes through a storm? Get more than a roofer. Get an experienced restoration team. Get PAC Construction Services. We're seasoned construction professionals and, are you ready? Former insurance adjusters. Our 100 years of diverse and specialized experience means faster repairs, fewer hassles, and fewer delays. Our emergency response team is on call 24/7 for storm damage, fire, water, and even mold restoration. Veteran owned, Kansas City trusted. No one will care more for your home or business inside and out than we will. We're ready when you need us. Visit PacKC.com and schedule a free inspection. With KC's recent storm history, there's a good chance you could already have covered damage. Find out today at PacKC.com. That's PACTKC.com.
Hey, Sorrent Petro here. Stop out or be listening when we broadcast the program this Friday from Cedar Crest Lodge in Pleasanton, Kansas. There you'll find a mix of nature and comfort, stunning views, a 27-acre lake, hiking, fishing, a heated pool, and on-site spa. Whether you're planning a romantic weekend or a mental health break, you'll find it 45 minutes south of Overland Park at Cedar Crest Lodge. I'll tell you all about it when we broadcast the program live from Cedar Crest Lodge. We'll be there Friday on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Get ready for Jurassic-sized fun.
We're not gonna play until we get the okay.
All right, so Kittle, and then we can.
Yeah, Kittle's going now, and then the rest of the show is taped. If you
Yeah.
guys want to record like a short minute, like 1 minute outro,
Yeah.
I can throw it on at the end there.
I'll
It
just
can't be longer than that.
Yeah, I'll just do it myself. Tell Sterling that he's good, that he doesn't need to be there for the minute because it'll just be a quick one. So,
Cool. We can record that right now if you're ready.
yep. Later, brother. My list here. All right. Shoot. I get there eventually. Here we go. All right, there we go. All right, 3, 2, and 1. All right, that wraps up our coverage here in Lake Tahoe American Century Championship. Thank you to Bobsite Auto Group, Zero Res, Window Nation, and Gann Asphalt and Concrete, and certainly all of the guests that we've had on this week, and Joe Buck, and Rob Riggle, and Michael Pena, and Catherine Tappan, and Matt Ryan. We talked with Justin Reed. We talked with Derek Carr, Ryan Fitzpatrick. We hung out with Jay Billis and Tim Simons and The Miz and George Kittle and Jason Worth and Rich Eisen and Matt Leinert and Larry the Cable Guy, and I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 other people that who can really remember all of the different people we've talked to. What a great week it was, and we certainly appreciate American Century having us out here. And don't forget catching today's round tomorrow and Sunday's round, NBC Sports, for the coverage there. So we will see who takes home the trophy, literally gets to take home the trophy now, as we heard from Jonathan Thomas last hour, that now they get to keep this trophy. So a great week here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it as well. We will have a best of coming up tomorrow that you can hear all of these interviews as well. We'll get out of here. Soren Petra, the program comes up next. We are wrapping it up here in Lake Tahoe in the American Century Championship on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Beautiful.
All right. Thanks, brother. Appreciate the work, man.
Yeah, no problem. The rest of the show is good. So
all right. Cool.
Everybody can take off.
All right. Thank you, man. All right. See you, bud.